everybody. This is Charlie Jones along with Randy Cross, and welcome to beautiful Minnesota. And this afternoon we're going to go sailing inside the Metrodome, where the Houston Oilers and the Minnesota Vikings will be meeting. And for Warren Moon, this is the first time that he has faced his former teammates, and he is ready to go. It's a big one for him personally.
Well, and he's got an all-around weapon, too, and Robert Smith, very, very fast, excellent out of the backfield catching the ball.
John Randall, defensive tackle for the Vikings. He will draw a crowd. He's a good one.
Chris Chandler 2 weeks ago, one of the great accuracy games of any quarterback in the history of this league, 23 of 26, fell off last week. If Houston has a chance, he's the reason they do.
Haywood Jeffries, his key receiver, 6'2", 201 pounds, great hands, great size, outstanding speed.
Well, Chris Dishman's seen a lot of Warren Moon in practice, and that's going to be key today because Chris Dishman is a guesser. He's going to jump on routes. That's either going to mean an interception for him or touchdowns for the Vikings.
And we are set to go. The Houston Oilers have won the toss. They have elected to receive, and that means that Mel Gray will be the solo return man. And he sets up shop just about the 3-yard line. And kicking off will be Farhad Ravez. Jeff Fisher, the head coach of the Houston Oilers, and Dennis Green, his counterpart with the Minnesota Vikings.
Look for something right away here, Charlie, on the kickoff return team. Houston's gotten a lot of penalties. Jeff Fisher says, you get a penalty on my kickoff return team today, you won't play the rest of the day.
And we are underway. Gray steps forward. He takes it at the 5. He's out to the 20. He's going to return near the 25-yard line as he runs into a wall of Vikings led by Chris Wall. So Houston will go to work. The offensive line for the Houston Oilers anchored by Bruce Matthews and Mark Stepnowski. Rodney Thomas, number 20. He's the rookie taken in the 3rd round of the draft. He is a good one for the Oilers. And the Oilers come out throwing. Coming to the near side to Haywood Jeffries. He pulls it in about the 30-yard line. So it'll go for a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5 as we check out the Viking defense. Derek Alexander, number 90. This is his first start. He is a defensive end, and he's the number 1 draft choice. And the secondary is going to be kind of mix and match. They'll be making changes all afternoon for the Vikings.
Well, you'll see Jackson and Griffith in the nickel. The key here defensively, 3 rookies starting.
The give off is to Rodney Thomas. Thomas off the right side. Ball pops loose. It's recovered by the Houston Oilers.
Well, that's exactly the start Jeff Fisher did not want to see Thomas get off to. Last week against Jacksonville, a critical fumble right at the end of the game that really decided that one in Jacksonville's favor. Watch him carry the ball. Look for a helmet or an arm right there. You see the way the ball was stripped out? That's something Tony Dungy from the first day of defensive practice just preaches religiously. This is a huge turnover team in Minnesota. You had better wrap the ball with both arms.
Marion Butts is now the tailback in the eye with a tight end in front of him. That's Frank Wycheck on the short yardage. And he's going to pick up the 1st down. Butts joining the Houston Oilers just some 12 days ago. Signed, of course, because of Gary Brown and his knee injury. And he picks up the 1st down. So the Oilers convert on 3rd down and 1. Opening drive of the ball game, no scores yet.
Well, Charlie, you know, Fisher and the Oilers are very excited about getting a refreshing back, as he refers to Marion Butts as. Instead of a guy that says, I want $1 million this or I want $2 million that, he actually went to Jeff Fisher and said, look, thank you for the opportunity. I won't let you down. Kind of unusual approach nowadays in pro sports.
It truly is. Butts stays in as the remaining back. Stumbling, going back is Chandler, and then he throws and the pass is complete. It'll go for a 1st down as he goes to Frank Wycheck. Wycheck is going to pick up close to 14 yards on the play after Chandler stumbled, coming back after taking the snap from center.
Well, this sort of disproves that whole thing about timing offenses now, doesn't it, Charlie?
It really does.
You know, it's 1, 2, 3, plop. An offensive lineman could bruise his brain landing like that. But, you know, the receivers never really give up. That's really the difference Chris Chandler has made this year in this offense with Jerry Rome, his new offensive coordinator, is the receivers react more to the quarterback and run back towards him.
But still the remaining back. First down. 48-yard line. Butts the ball carrier. He cuts back and is hit right at the line of scrimmage. His momentum is going to carry into the 47. So he'll pick up a yard. Jack Del Rio makes the tackle for the Vikings. We'll be hearing that most of the afternoon. It'll be 2nd down and 9 after a gain of 1.
And critically, Charlie, you talk about Del Rio. He came on the backside. Look for Houston to do a lot of cut blocking on the backside because there's such quick pursuit out of Minnesota. If you can knock them down, that opens up the holes on the backside.
Rodney Thomas is now the remaining back. 2nd down and 9. Fake to Thomas. Going into the right flat. Pass is complete. Near the first down, a yard or two shy. And number 46 is the rookie from Wisconsin, Michael Roan. He's the number 3 tight end for the Oilers.
Well, last week, Chris Chandler in this offense did not get off to a very good start, throwing an early interception and having very little rhythm. What we're seeing him do right now, Charlie, they're spreading the ball around, like you mentioned, going already to their number 3 tight end.
Frank Wycheck is the blocking back, and Marion Butts is the tailback. Short yardage again, 3rd and 1. Here's Butts right side, and he just plows his way through to the 32-yard line. He has 7 on the play and the first down. So the second time in this drive that the Oilers can convert it on 3rd down and 1.
Charlie, something to watch for here. Watch the line of the Minnesota Vikings match up physically with the offensive line of the Houston Oilers. Zone blocking, where the linemen get on a body and you let the back pick a hole. That wasn't a hard decision there, picking a hole when it's about 8 feet wide, but that's what Marion Butts does best. Get the ball, glide, look, and go.
Butts again, the remaining back. First down, Oilers, opening drive of the ball game. Underneath the coverage, coming over the middle, pass is complete for the Oilers, as they have been very successful in this drive, going to their tight ends. This time it is Roderick Lewis who falls it in. So Roderick Lewis, Frank Wycheck, and Michael Roan, the 3 tight ends, all very active in this opening drive. And in the past, the Oilers in that run and shoot didn't have any tight ends.
Well, it's a very important position, especially today. Minnesota plays a very patient, deep defensive backfield. If you want to loosen them up long for the Chris Sanders and his speed, you've got to threaten the middle of that defense.
And we have some jumping and some touching and some pointing and some flags. And that means that Walt Coleman and the officials will sort it out.
Neutral zone infraction on the defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty.
That's on Roy Barker.
Charlie, it's one of the biggest complaints defensive players have in the NFL are these new rules about this encroachment and movement. Remember the guys used to jump and you'd see the great shots of them trying to leap back on sides? Now, if they even twitch, they might as well keep going and smack somebody because they're going to be called for offsides.
The down will go. It'll be 2nd down. About a half a yard to go for the first down. As Jeffries comes in motion. Then he stops. And here is Butts, and I'm not sure he's going to pick up the half yard. The line of scrimmage was the 23. They're going to spot it closer to the 24. So he's going to lose a step on the play.
Remember what I talked about cutbacks? This is the cutback area for this play that's designed to go over here. Watch what happens on the backside when the pursuit comes down. There is nowhere for Butts to go because of Del Rio filling the hole, because Randall and McDaniel on the backside fill the hole. There's nowhere to run back, and there were also no cut blocks to set up that running path, that path.
Meanwhile, Chris Chandler started to amble to the sideline, and then he circles back. He takes the timeout. Will step aside. No score. Back in a moment. Hello again, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones along with Randy Cross. A very successful opening drive for the Houston Oilers. Now here, do they throw it or do they stay on the ground?
Well, I think you definitely stay on the ground. You've got Marion Butts going. You've got Frank Wycheck, that fullback position. Just blast away. Worst case scenario, Al Del Greco will make one from this close.
So a very successful start. What does it do to Warren Moon? He's very anxious to get this game going from his offensive standpoint. He's got to wait around a while.
Well, I don't think it impacts him very much, other than the standpoint of he gets a chance to watch his defense, get an opportunity to get a turnover, which they do better than anybody else in this league, Charlie.
3rd down and 1. Here is Butts, and this is going to be close. He needed a full yard. And let's see where he gets the mark. Jets in Buffalo, Green Bay, Dallas. No score early in that ball game. Those two ball games. As we update, Jacksonville with an early lead on Pittsburgh. Then you get a victory and they like it. They want to see if they can get another one. No scores, Cincinnati and Tampa Bay. The chains are coming out here. We have no score between the Houston Oilers and the Minnesota Vikings. Philadelphia with an early lead on Washington.
Well, you talk about a demoralizing defeat, and that's the most often used term for last week. Houston losing to an expansion team, and Jeff Fisher and the Oilers were extremely embarrassed about it. But we watched that Minnesota-Pittsburgh game from a couple weeks ago, and that had to be terribly demoralizing for the Steelers because these Vikings just spanked them physically in that first half. They ripped them apart.
First down for the Oilers. They've converted 3 of 3 third down opportunities. All 3 have been 3rd down and 1. Goes to the right side. Pass is complete to Derek Russell, and he is up in it immediately. And the trash talk begins.
Well, if you're a receiver, you got to get up talking and saying something like, "I'm okay," or "That's no big deal," or "Is that all you got?" Because if somebody hits you like that, where you're on your feet, and the first thing that hits as you flip is your head, you got to make some kind of point to that. It's a macho deal. You got to tell them that wasn't a big deal.
Didn't hurt at all as you go limping back to the huddle. 2nd down and 3. Back to throw again. Good protection. And it is incomplete. Derek Russell this time reached out for it. Did he short arm it a bit?
I think he was a little concerned about who was coming and where the defensive backs were. He did get the best shot in. Unfortunately, it was after he dropped the ball.
There was some traffic around him, wasn't there?
Yeah, there really was. Well, watch his arms, and then better yet, watch the contact with Dwayne Washington afterwards. Now, right there, the defender is the hit-e, not the hit-er. Not very often you get a receiver drive through a DB like that.
Rodney Thomas, the remaining back this time, 3rd down and 3. Normally in short yardage, it has been Butts, and we're going to stop the play. The pass is knocked down. A good defensive play. As far as the Vikings were concerned, James Harris may have got an early jump. Robert Griffith knocked the ball down. What do you have?
Offsides, defense, unabated to the quarterback, number 99, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
I hate it when that unabated to the quarterback happens, Charlie. How about, we got a great start going on here by Chris Chandler so far in this game. He's almost duplicating the kind of start he got up to 2 weeks ago. This guy is really starting to deliver the ball, and more importantly, his receivers are making the tough catches for him, and that's wonderful for him and the confidence it puts in those receivers.
And this is what the Oilers have done very quickly. We'll come back to that. What they call the red zone inside the 20. 1st down and 10 just outside of the 10. Here's a sweep to the right side. Marion Butts gets the call, and he's going to pick up maybe a half a yard, maybe not that much. Just call it no gain, 2nd and 10.
Well, this defense is much like Dallas's in that, when you attack this defense running the ball, you at best make a decision, look for usually that backside cut, and then just go. They have such good team speed. If you do what Marion Butts did right there and kind of quiver and hesitate and then try to bounce, they're going to run you down.
This is the 16th play of the opening drive of the ball game. The Vikings have not been on offense. 6:52 and counting time remaining, 1st quarter. He comes to the near side to the 10-yard line. He goes again to the tight end. This time it's Frank Wycheck. will mention he has 3 to choose from. He's going to pick up a couple of yards.
But he gets awful low down on the list of ones to choose from by the time he gets this ball off to Wycheck, mainly because of that shortening of the field we were always talking about in the red zone, Charlie. You're talking about defensive backs getting in zone, sitting down, smothering up wide receivers, and he's forced to dump off to a tight end who basically in this offense, Wycheck is basically an H-back and a blocker.
So here's the crucial down of the drive. It is 3rd down and 8, and the ball just outside of the 8-yard line. You look to the end zone over the middle. It will be caught at about the 2-yard line, but it's going to be shy of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Rodney Thomas is the man who pulled it in. It'll be 4th down.
And it's time to kick a field goal. I don't think, it's a tough decision. You're going to get a chance on your opening drive against a tough defense like Minnesota to put points on the board. You've kept the offense off the field as long as you've been talking about there, Charlie.
You've used 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
Take your points and run.
Al Del Greco from the 10-yard line, which Camarillo will hold. Uses a snapper. And attempt from 20 yards out, and it is good. And the Oilers, with the opening drive, they go on top by a score of 3-0. You are watching the NFL on NBC. Opening drive for the Houston Oilers, and they used up some 9 minutes and 47 seconds, 16 plays on the drive. Del Greco officially a 19-yard field goal. They're up 3-0, and he kicks it away. And it is taken to the 10-yard line by David Palmer. And Palmer is going to return to about the 23, maybe the 24-yard line, and the Vikings will be going on offense for the first time in the ballgame. Lemansky Hall makes the tackle for Houston. And it's been quite a wait for Warren Moon and the Minnesota Viking offense. You know something? They're going to have to wait a little longer as we step aside. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Metrodome. This is Charlie Jones and Randy Cross as the Minnesota Vikings have an opportunity on offense from their own 24-yard line for the first time in the ballgame. Robert Smith is the remaining back. Warren Moon is the quarterback. And he gives a quick pop over the right side. It is Robert Smith. Oh, is he ever exciting to watch. He's going to pick up a quick 8 yards on the play, and he does it behind the blocking, of course, of that offensive line. David Dixon and Corey Stringer on the right side together, 700 pounds. Whoa. And Robert Smith, he is the man to watch. He's a left-handed ball carrier also.
And in the nickel, Ismail and Palmer, watch out for Palmer. Palmer is the receiver Dennis Green loves.
And here is Smith again, slides to the outside, gets around the corner, changes gears, has the first down, goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Let's check out the defense of the Houston Oilers. And there is that front four, Ray Childress, the veteran, 11 years, number 79. He is the anchor. And there's a look at the linebackers in the secondary. You're also going to see Michael Barrow. He's going to return at middle linebacker as they still miss Al Smith.
With Barnes and Jackson come into the nickel, don't forget, I mentioned it earlier, Dishman and Lewis, big guessers at the corner. That can go either way for you.
Vikings explosive as they come on their first offensive drive. Moon fires, pass is complete. He goes to Chris Carter. And Carter picks up 8, maybe 9. So big chunks on the drive for the Vikings as they trail in the ballgame by a score of 3-0. You can tell how anxious they are to get their offense started. They're ready to rock and roll.
Well, one thing they've done early too, Charlie, is they've run over to their right side behind those big guys, Dixon and Stringer, which I think is a surprise to Jeff Fisher and the Oilers. They expected him to concentrate behind McDaniel and Stussy over on the left side.
Second down, maybe 1.5 yards for the first down. Now they come to the left side, cuts back, and has the first down as he goes to the 44-yard line. A gain of 5 yards for Robert Smith. So he has equal success on either side.
Remember we talked about with Marion Butts about the come in, look, and then find a hole backside. You're going to see that come out of Robert Smith right here. Just an instinctive thing, a play designed to go way outside. But the helmets, those white helmets of the Houston Oilers tell Robert Smith which direction to go.
and he has a penchant for running out of his shoe. Amp Lee replaces him. It's a first down at the 44-yard line. Houston territory. Moon rolls right, sets, he throws, he is on target. Pass is complete to Jake Reed. Reed, by the way, played his collegiate ball at Grambling, and he wanted us to pass along congratulations to his coach.
Well, Coach Robinson in Grambling is the guy. That's the one everybody should model the coaching techniques after as far as how they handle kids. But Robert Smith, you see him trying to tie his shoes on the sideline, Charlie? He doesn't tie them tight enough. If you can just take your foot and stick it back in there, you're not running out of your shoes. You're trying to run out of your shoes. You're just giving him, he's got tearaway feet right now. Those things will come right off.
Second, he needs more Velcro. Second down and 4. Play action fake. Warren sets, goes deep over the middle. Double coverage. Pass is complete. Just off target to Adrian Cooper. It'll be third down and 4.
And that's the one weapon I think Warren Moon and his offense really need to develop more of, and that's use of the tight end position. Whether it's Adrian Cooper or Andrew Jordan, their backup tight end, number 89. That will really make life a little bit more pleasant for Jake Reed and Chris Carter. You know, both those guys caught a ton of passes last year. Carter 122 for an NFL record. And if Dennis Green wants this offense to even develop and keep growing, that's the position they need more out of.
David Palmer checks in as a wide receiver. They go 3 wide. He's to the far side of the top of the screen. Moon, quick drop throws. He should have the first down. Pass goes to Jake Reed. Then he breaks the tackle down the sideline. Finally is bumped out of bounds. Jake Reed with a great continuing effort as he had the first down. Then he was battled behind the first down marker, and then he spun loose down the sideline.
When Warren Moon was in Houston, he had the kind of little Smurfy wide receivers. Not anymore. He's got a couple of big dogs in Carter and Reed, and there's the value of the big wide receiver. You know, guys like Irvin, Rice, those type of receivers just make defensive backs miss with shrugs. Those aren't moves. That's just a little shoulder shrug, and the guy's gone.
And he shrugs for 18 yards on the play, a first down at the 20. And this time, Robert Smith back in the lineup is wrapped up for a loss. He's going to lose 4 back to the 24-yard line. It'll be second down and 14. Glenn Montgomery was there to lead the charge for the Oilers. That's the first time that Smith's been stopped for a loss in the ballgame.
Well, if I was Robert Smith, I'd go back into that huddle right now, look at my offensive lineman and say, hey, boys, last time I checked our depth chart, there's no 94 white in the backfield.
While he's here, give him a letter switch.
Yeah, exactly. Montgomery was 3 yards deep. That had to be a complete whiff.
Second down and 14 at the 24. Quick release pass is complete to Chris Carter. You talk about the 3-step drop and the 5-step drop and the 7-step drop. That was a 1-step drop.
It really, you know, what you're getting to is a defense in Houston is not surprised. They're screaming out there as soon as the ball is snapped. You can hear the defenders from Houston yelling, quick, quick, quick. It's one thing to know about it. It's another thing to stop it because they've said it twice and they've missed it twice.
Gain of 9, third down and 5. Ball at the 15-yard line. Well within the field goal range of Fuad Reves for the Vikings for the tie. We're taking a countdown to the end of the first quarter. Moon to throw, 3-step drop, on target, Jake Reed. First down. Darrell Lewis with the tackle.
Well, right now you're getting a lot of quick passing out of Warren Moon and his wide receivers. And if you're Houston, you better find a quick fix to this. Got a flag down on the field, but the execution offensively has just been perfect for Warren Moon.
This is a drive they started their own 24. The penalty is going to take it back from the 7 where that play would have ended. It would have been first and goal. Here's the call.
Illegal shift on the offense, 2 men moving, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
So you can tell, Charlie, I'm a former offensive player because when you see a long 16-play drive by Houston and a nice executed drive like this by Denny Green's Minnesota Vikings, I tend to say, well, gee, it's great execution. I guess if you look on the other side of the ball, you're saying both these defenses aren't doing very well stopping these offenses. Most of that's because of good, quick decision-making by both quarterbacks.
Third down and 10, but the Vikings elect to take the countdown to the end of the first quarter. And after one is in the book, the Oilers lead it by a score of 3-0, and the Vikings face a 3rd and 10 at the 20-yard line of Houston. Back in a moment. Warren Moon had to wait a long time, almost 10 minutes for his opening drive, and he's been very successful, 4 of 5. And they're moving with great quickness. It's not like a hurry up, but like it's a step faster of the offense.
Well, Warren Moon makes some great decisions, and he's making decisions right here. See him looking up at the defense, walking up to the line of scrimmage, and how quickly his receivers, Carter and Reed, here on the near side get set. That's when Warren Moon's deciding when he's throwing the ball. With his experience, he doesn't wait until the ball's snapped. He's got a real good idea right now.
Amp Lee is the remaining back in this offensive set. Passing situation. 2 wide receivers on the near side. 2 tight ends on the far side. Plenty of time to throw. He goes into the end zone and overthrows Chris Carter. And that was 3rd down and 10, so the field goal team will come in. And that means that Fuad Reveiz will go for the tie. He has hit 34 of his last 35, 61 of his last 62 from 45 yards in. He'll be kicking from around the 28-yard line, so a 38-yard attempt. And this is for the tie. Mike Saxon is the holder. Mike Morris is the snapper. And it is good. So we are tied at 3. And you are watching the NFL on NBC.
There's Oilers defensive coordinator with the glasses there, Steve Sidwell, and he's watched his defense finally stop Warren Moon down by the 20-yard line. And on the other side, well, it's Tony Dungy's turn right now. He's right in the middle of the picture there. And Tony Dungy, you saw earlier on the NFL on NBC, everybody talks about this guy finally being a head coach, and I think right now he just settled for his defense finally making Chris Chandler in this Houston offense make a mistake they can take advantage of right now.
Fuad Reveiz will be kicking off. Mel Gray is the return man. He takes it at the 2. To the 15, 20, wrapped up at the 22-yard line. Robert Griffith makes the tackle for the Vikings. So Houston will go to work. Only the 2nd time in the ball game that they have been on offense. And we have 14:43 time remaining in the first half. Ball game tied at 3. Only 2 drives.
Well, yeah, if you're Jeff Fisher and the Oilers, though, right now, you've got to be pretty happy with Minnesota coming down and also only getting a field goal and being 3-3 in this position. Because you know he and his offensive coordinator, Jerry Rome, are going to stay in the same game plan. Short, efficient passing, and try to get some running out of Marion Butts and the running backs.
Frank Wycheck is the H-back. Marion Butts is the running back. And Butts is going to be dropped for a loss. No, it's a fake. A great fake by Chris Chandler, and then he goes downfield to Jeffries, and it is incomplete. So we get faked out here. We'll fake our way to New York. Greg has an update for us.
All right, Charlie, no fake about this one. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the board against the Steelers. Mark Brunell, 10 yards to Cedric Tillman for the touchdown with the extra point. Jacksonville leading the Steelers 7-0 in the first, Charlie.
Thank you, Greg. Break up Jacksonville. That is the battle cry across the NFL.
I know the Oilers wouldn't mind seeing them beat Pittsburgh just to make them look better.
2nd down, and what a great fake that was to Marion Butts. I thought he was dropped for a loss. And this time here is the handoff. That is Ronnie Thomas. And Thomas is going to be close to the first down. When you mark it, it looks as if it'll be about a half-yard shy. But let's see exactly where they spot it. We'll have the chains come out. We'll take a look at a pit replay.
Well, watch right here. That's just plain old zone blocking. You got your guy in his area, and let's see what he does. And, you know, if Thomas has made one flaw in his game appear early here in 95, the rookie has put the ball on the ground. That can have an adverse effect on a running back's confidence. I think Jeff Fisher and the offensive coaches have tried to nip the whole thing in the bud by sitting down and having long, protracted votes of confidence kind of talks with this young man saying, hey, look, it's no big deal. The fumble last week, it did cost us the game. You're going to win some games down the road for us. Don't worry about it.
It'll be 3rd down and inches for Houston. Houston is 4 for 4 third down opportunities in the ballgame, and they lead the NFL in third down conversions, over 50%.
Well, the key for them really been, Charlie, of those, 7 of their 10 touchdowns have come on third down. That is not going to hurt your conversion ratio right there.
Marion Butts, the remaining back. And he just plows to the 35-yard line. So he's going to pick up 3 in the first down along the way. Time remaining first half, just over 14 minutes as Harlan Barnett and Orlando Thomas were in the last tackle for the Vikings.
Well, watch Thomas, 43, kind of a, what am I doing in here with these big guys? I mean, he's a safety. He's a young guy. He's a rookie. He likes to hit, but I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas, you don't belong inside the tackles, and he just found out why.
Again on first down, Marion Butts remaining back. The Oilers using him a lot more in the first half than they anticipated. Pass is deep, and it is incomplete. Going to Haywood Jeffries, but this time Chandler was off target. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Back to the 35 as Dwayne Washington had the defensive coverage, and he really was off target.
Well, if you're going to throw it behind your receiver, as Chandler does here, there's a positive to see here, Charlie, because he not only threw it behind Jeffries, he threw it behind Washington, he threw it behind Thomas, the linebacker, so nobody really had a good shot at catching that one.
He almost threw it behind the bench. All right, 2nd down and 10. Chandler to throw. Good protection, deep over the middle. Pass is complete at the 50-yard line. Jeffries pulls it in. He goes down at the 49-yard line, Viking territory, and a first down.
Remember those great stats from 2 weeks ago when his receivers were making the tough catch for Houston? This is a tough catch. Working on Washington, but see the ball comes in. Washington goes to strip it. A lot of receivers won't make that catch for their quarterbacks. Right now, Jeffries and these receivers for Houston are going that extra little bit for Chris Chandler.
First down just inside the 49-yard line of the Vikings. This is a passing formation. Thomas is the running back. 3 wide receivers plus Thomas. Quick drop throw comes back underneath to the tight end, Michael Rohn, who is the 3rd tight end. And he's going to pick up the first down at the 38-yard line, 37-yard line.
You know, that was a great case right there of a guy in Rohn that's not very familiar with catching the ball in this offense. So I'm going to describe this as running happy. Now this guy's going to have kind of a happy run. See this? He's excited. He can't stand himself. They threw me another one. This is 2 in 1/2.
And I got a first down. I saw the marker. That's what it means. 37-yard line first down. This is only the 2nd time that the Oilers have been on offense. The Vikings have been on offense only 1 time. Here's Thomas to the 34-yard line. He's going to pick up 3, 2nd down and 7. In case you're just joining us along the way, opening drive by the Oilers led to a field goal by Al Del Greco from 20 yards out. And then the Vikings, first time that they had the ball, they took the drive and they kicked a field goal, so we are tied at 3-3. Vikings on offense only 1 time, only the 2nd time for the Oilers. 2nd and 7, 11:50 counting in a very fast-moving first half. Rodney Thomas, the remaining back. He's the rookie from Texas A&M, taken in the 3rd round of the draft. A middle screen to Thomas, and Thomas is cut down around the 32-yard line. He's going to pick up a couple of yards on the play, but Broderick Thomas of the Vikings was waiting on him. Good defensive anticipation.
Well, it was 2 things, Charlie. I think it was very good execution by the Houston offense in a middle screen. They executed it about as well as you could. But watch the team defensive speed of the Minnesota Vikings recover. Here's a screen set up just fine. Now here comes the speed. That closing ability. You know, usually when you talk about closing from corners, Minnesota and Tony Dungy have defensive linemen and linebackers that can close like corners.
3 wide receivers, 3rd down and 5. Jeffries going in motion across the top of the screen. first down. It's going to be fourth down as Charles Mincy was waiting for him. Mark it for no gain on the play. It'll be fourth down and 5.
And they're going to bring Del Greco in, and that's a good decision. Go ahead and let one fly from about 50 yards because, you know, in these gigantic living rooms like this, they have nothing to worry about as far as wind or whatnot. Del Greco's used to kicking indoors, and, you know, for him, this is sort of a choke down 4-iron or so, as he's quite a golfer, and it kind of relate to that one.
On the year, he is now 7 of 9, and his long on the year is 53. This is right at the 40. An attempt of 50 yards, and it is good from 50 yards away. And so the Oilers regain the lead. They move on top by a score of 6-3 in the battle of field goals. Back in a moment. Now with 10 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the first half, the Oilers up 6-3, their second impressive drive of the ballgame.
It's amazing. We've had 3 possessions in this game, and we've run 20 minutes off the clock. We burned the first quarter in the first 2, and then there's one real quick here. It's so far a great performance, I think, by both coaching staffs. The offensive staffs being very patient in calling plays, and both Dennis Green and Jeff Fisher's defensive coordinators and defenses bowing up when they have to.
Flag is down on the kickoff. The return is taken by David Palmer. Palmer slips a couple of tackles. He's going to be down around the 27-yard line. Whereas the return, Odie Harris got him there, but there was a flag. The Oilers offsides on the kickoff.
I wouldn't run too far off the field. They're going to get a chance to do this one again.
And we await the official decision.
Offside on the kicking team, number 22. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Very, very dangerous situation for the Houston Oilers, Charlie, because I really like David Palmer, as do the Minnesota Vikings. This guy is a no-nonsense kick returner. You know, you see guys that look and search and whatnot. Palmer's got no look and search in him. He catches the ball, and he flat just goes up the field and reacts to what he sees.
His number counterpart, Jamar Barnes, is the Oiler who was offside. He had a full head of steam. I mean, he was a full step in front. He was anxious to get down and hit somebody. So we'll spot the ball back now at the 25-yard line, and that means that David Palmer, number 22, along with Amp Lee, number 32, will set up shop at about the 15-yard line. 9 minutes, 56 seconds, time remaining second quarter. Oilers lead at 6-3. No flag this time. Taken at the 20-yard line. Out of the 30. Pops it, cuts back at the 40. Slips another tackle. David Palmer with a great return. Finally stopped by Darrell Lewis, along with Baron Wortham.
Well, like I said, Charlie, not a whole lot of looking and searching. What you have here, you have good blocking, and you got an awful lot of just flat getting it out of David Palmer. He sees holes, he sees opportunities, he's watching arm tackles, and when you got a running back / wide receiver trying to make something happen, moving that fast up the field, you can forget an arm tackle.
So the ball at the 39-yard line of the Oilers. Minnesota on offense for only the second time in the ball game, and Warren Moon comes out firing. And he goes to his tight end, Adrian Cooper. Tight ends have been featured by both offenses this afternoon.
And a lot of that's come down to the fact that both defenses are playing relatively soft, Charlie, which is out of character a little bit for Jeff Fisher's defense for Houston. They're used to attacking and guessing, like we talked about Dishman and Lewis. They're not doing that right now, but you guarantee you number 1 there, Warren Moon, remembers his old teammates, love to guess.
And he comes out with a first down on the first play of the drive. And it's 1st and 10 again. This time the running offense of the Vikings, Robert Smith closed down inside. He tries to find something outside, and nothing was there. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, we saw Marion Butts for Houston try to bounce and go outside earlier. Same kind of play, same kind of attempt, same kind of result. Both these defense have an awful lot of team speed. You're not going to make much of a living or do much business trying to bounce and run around it.
Jake Reed and Chris Carter are wide to the far side. Robert Smith is the remaining back. The fake of the draw, deep over the middle. One-hand grab, it is incomplete. And we're going to step aside for a moment as we go to New York for an update. Greg?
Charlie, what was that you said about breaking up the Jaguars? James Stewart from 6 yards out, his first ever NFL touchdown with the extra point. The Jaguars now lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 14-0 in the second, Charlie.
Greg, like I always said, the Jaguars are for real.
See, you can just hear the people on the Houston Oilers organization and team saying, I told you those guys were pretty good.
I told you so.
No one believed us.
Amp Lee and Robert Smith are in the backfield. Moon to throw. Both backs in the block. Comes over. Diving reception by Carter. Flag is down on the floor.
Not only a great catch, he was interfered with to start with.
They spot the ball at the 15-yard line. It's going to be a first down either way. Holding call against the Oilers.
Well, Chris Carter, simply put, he makes highlights ho-hum. This guy can make more of these catches where his arms and hands seem to grow. I mean, he's got that kind of plastic man ability.
Defense number 29, that penalty is declined. First down.
I got to tell you, Chris Carter was in as he declined the penalty,
Oh.
I want the reception in the yard.
You know, people say he's off. He's off his pace from, last year where he broke the NFL record. He's not that far off that pace.
He's saving himself. Well, that was a great catch at the 15-yard line. Here's Robert Smith to the left side. And he is met right at the line of scrimmage of 15. So it'll be second down and 10. The ball's still at the 15-yard line of Houston. All of this, of course, was set up by the great kickoff return by David Palmer. So that the Vikings started this drive at the Houston 39-yard line. Well within field goal range, of course, for the tie.
Great opportunity here, Charlie, with the two wide receivers split to the near side for a pick.
Rolling right, setting and throwing back underneath. Carter with the catch and is out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. So it's only a gain of 3. It'll be third down and 7.
That's almost one of those plays you say should count as half a catch for Chris Carter, because it didn't really do too much outside of pick up a couple of yards, didn't get close to a first down.
Kadri Ismail and David Palmer check into the offensive set for the Vikings. Palmer goes wide to the far side. Reed is wide to the near side, and Carter comes across in motion. Warren throws behind a one-hand spinning grab by Carter. As the toss was behind him, he did a 360, pulls it in at the 9-yard line. That will not be enough for the first down, but it will make another highlight reel.
It sure will. This guy's got the most incredible hands. Started in Philadelphia. Buddy Ryan said this guy couldn't catch, maybe because he couldn't play defense, but he can sure play wide receiver. He's incredible.
You can't make that catch.
I know I can't.
All right, for the 17-yard line, a field goal attempt of 27 yards for the tie. And we will have some jumping and flags. Darrell Lewis got an early start. And factor in. Now, this is fourth down. The ball at the 9.
Oh, if this is against the Oilers, Fisher's going to bust a gasket on the sideline.
And it could be a first down. Let's see where they'll spot it. That's what they want to check.
Going to the 4.5. They have a first down, right?
They're checking for the first down.
I'll tell you one thing, if it's not a first down, you go for it.
Offsides, defense, number 29, unabated. They'll be half the distance to the goal, first down.
And half the distance from the 9, take it to the 4.5, and that's just enough for the first down.
There's Lewis, 29, coming in on the inside, right there, unabated. I tell you, nothing's worse. One thing's worse than being unabated towards the quarterback. It's unabated towards the kicker. Where did that come from?
So it's going to be first down and goal to go. So the Vikings with a major break off of the mistake of the Oilers. And here is Smith, a straight shot, and there's absolutely nothing there.
Joe Bowden, outside linebacker, was once again kind of in Glenn Montgomery's position earlier, 3 yards in the backfield. He was playing the same position, coming from the right side of the screen. Never a shot. Completely unblocked, and there's a case and a good example of that team defensive speed for Houston. Offenses don't plan on trying to block somebody that far removed from the point of attack, and the speed becomes the factor.
Second down, goal to go. Moon throws. It is caught. Touchdown. Chris Carter. He had his handprints all over this drive.
And all really Warren Moon needs is just a glimmer. Adrian Cooper clears things out. Warren Moon just sees a little piece of a jersey-colored purple, and he leads the ball out there perfectly. See the clear out. Barrow's trying to get in and help. Dishman's trying to catch up and help. And you better get a whole body on those arms.
That makes it a 9-6 ball game, and the extra point is good. And the Vikings move out in front of the Houston Oilers as we continue watching the NFL on NBC. Welcome back to the Metrodome. The Minnesota Vikings now leading the Houston Oilers 10-6, courtesy of this man, Chris Carter.
Who is that guy in the bottom? That is the guy now tied for third place, the all-time Vikings career touchdown reception. NBC's own Ahmad Rashad.
With a mustache. All right, here's Mel Gray on the return. He's to the 15. Slips to the outside 20, 25. He's got a good one going. He's to the 40, the 50, and then out of bounds in Viking territory. So Mel Gray, the counterpunch to David Palmer's 42-yard kickoff return for the Vikings, is finally chased out of bounds by Martin Harrison.
Well, you saw one of the young guys doing it his way, and there's a guy that's been doing it his way for a long time, as good if not better than anybody else. Mel Gray's the best that's ever done this in returns. Watch what happens here. You've got a wedge trying to go up the middle. Then you've got the Mel Gray goes right at the wedge, and then instincts kick in. I see an opening, right, go. That's all that was. That was purely a case of the instincts kicking in for Mel Gray, seeing an opening and using that flat, raw speed.
So Houston goes to work following that 52-yard kickoff return. Play action, fake screen right side. It is intercepted. Martin Harrison has the interception, 40-yard line of Houston on the turnover.
Well, you've heard that old story, Charlie, about assuming. Well, what Chris Chandler does is he gets pressure from the outside from Broderick Thomas, is he assumes that his man's going to be there. What he doesn't see while he's assuming is number 91, Martin Harrison, is on all over the inside of that double screen, and he puts it right into Harrison's hands.
First turnover of the ball game. Vikings have the ball at the Houston 40-yard line. Vikings are up by 4, 10-6. Let's see if Moon wants to capitalize and go immediately into the end zone. He gives out to David Palmer, who's now the running back. A straight shot to the 36-yard line. He picks up 4. It'll be second down and 6. Oh, that's Ampley, excuse me. And now Robert Smith will come in, and Ampley is going to come out. Palmer was in as a wide receiver. He's also going to come out of this particular set. It'll be second down and 6.
Well, after that last series, you've got to think the Houston defense, if they do anything, they're not going to let Chris Carter beat him again on another drive.
Here's Robert Smith to the corner. He'll string him out and bring him down. He's going to be about 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down. And it'll be third down. Blaine Bishop with a tackle for Houston. So spotted at the 33-yard line, third down and 3. Situation substitutions for the Oilers. They'll bring in 3 or 4, maybe 5 players in a situation substitution at this juncture of the ball game. Here's a passing formation, and Amp Lee moves over and makes it a running formation.
Short pass means quick pass.
And a little swing to Amp Lee in the flat. Slips a tackle, goes out of bounds, first down. Nice individual effort to pick up 4 yards in the first down at the 29-yard line before Barnes could finally stop him.
And that was a pure clear out because he had Carter and Jake Reed on that side. Everybody runs off, and Amp Lee just dumps out into the flat. Quick 5-step drop by Warren Moon, quick flip out to the outside. And then as a coach, it's all in the player's hands to do what he thinks he does best, and that's get you that first down with personal effort.
First down, 29-yard line. Robert Smith, the remaining back. Moon goes deep. Carter's open, and he overthrows him. Chris Carter broke free behind the secondary, and Warren overthrew him by a step.
Wow, I just said 2 plays ago, if there's any guy you don't let burn you on this drive and this possession, it is Chris Carter. Who gets wide open? I mean, that's not even wide open. That's ridiculously open.
That's big screen open, isn't it?
Yeah, that was due mainly to just a mess up in the coverage. I mean, you had a safety just sort of ignore Chris Carter as he moved up inside, assuming the cornerback had him. Another one of those assumptions.
Moon now from the shotgun, second down and 10. First time they have shown the shotgun this afternoon. And he has 3 wide receivers in this set. And he runs out of time. It cost him a delay of game. That's rather an interesting call. Go to the shotgun, then you take too much time.
Delay on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
He's second down and 15. I think the mascot thought perhaps that it was going to be a timeout as we have motorcycle. Whoops, quick exit. All kinds of excitement this afternoon. Randy's just shaking his head. Both backs in the block. Pass on the near side is complete. The reception at the 24-yard line is Carter goes high in the air, and then he is ridden down by Chris Dishman. So spotted at the 24-yard line. He gets 10 of it back. It'll be third down and 5 to go for the first down.
And that puts him back in that position he was just in when Amp Lee got him that first down. What this offense does best in these short type of situations, throwing the ball, is they clear out with the first receivers, usually in a straight clear out or using the pick, and the people to look for are the people coming behind the initial wave.
Amp Lee is remaining back. Palmer is in as the third wide receiver. Far side behind, picked up. This will be a touchdown. Down the far sideline for the Houston Oilers, and it will be a touchdown. And now looking to the crowd with the interception is number 29, Darrell Lewis, has the interception and the long touchdown return.
And a flag down on the field. Charlie, remember I talked about that guessing? Well, Lewis guessed. Lewis made Moon pay, but it's all going to come back.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 95, 15-yard penalty.
On Canavis McGee, number 95.
Well, here's what could turn out to be a 14-point turnaround. Absolutely, Charlie. You cannot, after the ball's gone, Charlie, you can't finish a guy off like that. If he's got his momentum going to the ground, fine. You grab on and slam him down. I mean,
let's look at that again. Let's look at that again.
Well, Jeff Fisher obviously doesn't agree.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with you. Let's look at it again. And then I might agree with you.
Well,
maybe we won't look at it.
In this NFL right now, you cannot finish off a quarterback. It's so offensive-minded, offensive-oriented. A defender cannot do that. That drive down with the quarterback. The ball's obviously gone. He has seen the ball leave.
First down, 12-yard line, and we've got whistles and a flag on the far side. I still feel like when I look at it that it is his momentum is carrying into him. It's not like he's stuffing him on his head. More that he's just pulling him down with it.
He missed his head. He threw him on his shoulder.
I disagree with that one.
False start prior to the snap. Number 77 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's on Corey Stringer.
And I tell you what, if he or Dixon, big number 71 next to him, they start false starting, there is nothing short of anything that's going to stop them. I mean, you're not going to stop an avalanche. You're not going to stop a mudslide, a tidal wave. These guys are almost forces of nature once they start moving.
Dixon weighs 360. Stringer weighs 337. You're right. Moon to throw. As Carter, touchdown.
A 14-point turnaround on that roughing the passer by Canavis McGee. It was 7 the other way. Now put 7 up for the Vikings because the defense for Houston cannot keep track of the best receiver that the Vikings have to offer. That time it was Chris Dishman being burned, and that's because of a great pass by that man, Warren Moon.
Moon to Carter. It works again. The margin is 10 with the extra point still to come, 16-6. And it is good. And the Vikings move up 17-6 over the Houston Oilers. You're right, a 14-point turnaround. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
How does a defensive back become toast? Get a little burned? Watch what happens to Chris Dishman here as he bites on the move about the 10-yard line right there. Quick move, no help inside. That's just pretty. I mean, that is how offensive coaches draw it up, and that's how scouts hope they can draft players who can do that. They can make offensive coaches and game plans look good.
40 yards on the drive in 6 plays. It took 2:43. Ran that off of the clock. Mel Gray now is set to return the kickoff of Juan Rivas.
Boy, Chris Carter being told he can't play anymore. It's got to be one of the great misjustices and just terrible personnel decisions ever in this league.
Who told him?
A defensive coach.
All right, here's Mel Gray on the return to the 20, and then he is decked at the 21-yard line, and that was Chris Walsh who got it. Coming up next on most of these NBC stations, it will be the second half of our NFL doubleheader. Either Seattle, Oakland, Cleveland, Detroit, or Indianapolis, Miami. So check your local listings if you're wondering which one you're going to get. Or better than that, just stay with us, and we'll be switching to it at the end of the ballgame.
The Oakland Raiders right now, Charlie, are one of the top 3 teams in the NFL. You can pick your order, but they belong in the top 3.
Houston, a first down at their own 21-yard line. Now trailing 17-6. Pressure from the backside and the sack. Broderick Thomas got it.
Well, Broderick Thomas becoming quite a presence defensively for the Vikings. We saw him coming from the onside, forcing Chris Chandler into that bad assumption, throwing the interception to Martin Harrison. Now coming from the backside, he gets himself a fingertip sack. That's when you wrap your fingertips in the back of the quarterback's jersey. It's a full sack, but you didn't have more than about 2 inches of skin on him.
2-minute warning now will be given to both benches. We'll step aside. Vikings up 17-6.
Marching band.
Coming up at halftime, the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report. And joining Greg Gumbel in the studio, Joe Montana and Coach Mike Ditka. Scores and highlights and a halftime feature on Miami's Steve Entner. So stay tuned with us, and Greg and Joe and Mike will be updating everything that is happening, including the powerhouse now, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can you believe that ball club? They tasted victory. They found out they liked it.
I don't know what's more unbelievable, really, is that Jacksonville is playing like that, or that Pittsburgh is playing that bad. Because in all difference to Mr. Coughlin down in Jacksonville and that football team, they can't be so good they can embarrass the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry. I think Pittsburgh done a great job in the last month of embarrassing themselves plenty.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Vikings lead this one 17-6, and a perfect situation for the Viking defense.
Exactly. This is the area of the field you usually see a big defensive play for a turnover, for a touchdown for the Vikings.
Rodney Thomas on the draw. He goes to the 16-yard line. He's going to pick up 3 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 15, and the Vikings will stop the clock. They want another opportunity on offense. 1:49. That's the time remaining first half.
Probably the best offense that Minnesota has in this case just might be this Vikings defense. Because, over the last few years, nobody's got more interceptions than the Minnesota Vikings. You look at this number, they have 78 since 92. What you don't see there, of those 78 interceptions, 13 are for touchdowns. And anytime that happens in a football game, it's huge. I mean, it's gigantic momentum mover, especially in this game. You saw the momentum that Houston almost had when they took one back, when Lewis looked like he had 6 points.
Offensively for the Vikings, of course, here's Tony Dungy, who you are visiting with right now. And that is offensively, the big gun has been Chris Carter. Carter with 2 touchdown receptions in the ballgame as he continues to write his name across the record book of the Minnesota Vikings. Third down and 15.
If you're Chris Chandler, you cannot take a chance. Don't throw the ball in a tough spot.
The middle screen almost intercepted. Whoa!
By guess who?
Martin Harrison.
Again, Martin Harrison. They go to run a screen. He's all over it. Unbelievable. Harrison's lined up left part of the screen. Comes around. You see that hand? Just gets the hand in there, and they're very lucky that's not picked off. It's going to be Houston's first punt of the game. Talk about offense.
Rich Camarillo will be kicking. It's 4th and 15. David Palmer is the return man for the Vikings. He could give them excellent field position. Almost blocked. Almost blocked. Taken at the 41-yard line. Nothing on the return. Lemansky Hall was down for the Oilers. We've got a timeout. You're watching the NFL on NBC. 1 minute and 37 seconds left. That is the time remaining. First down for the Vikings at their own 42-yard line was Scotty Graham, who almost blocked the kick. A little bit of a wobbly pass, and then a fumble, and it may be recovered by the Oilers. They had it momentarily, and they signal they do on the turnover. Andrew Jordan, the number 2 tight end, had the reception and then the fumble, and now the Oilers have an opportunity with 1:29 left here in the first half.
Well, they've got an opportunity, Charlie, if they don't do something stupid by throwing a punch and getting a personal foul. And the reason they have this break is you got a tight end, not used to carrying the ball much, being stripped from the backside by Blaine Bishop. Ball just comes out, and it's Bishop actually that ends up recovering that fumble. See the strip and the yank down with the arms. Jordan cuts her loose. Childress cuts it loose, but the Oilers come up with the ball.
So the Oilers have a first down at the Viking 43-yard line. They trail 17-6. Lots of time remaining. Minute 29 in the first half. What a boost this would be. They could score a touchdown here. Pressure, wobbly throw as Chandler's arm was hit by one of the Vikings.
Well, what Chris Chandler wanted to do there, he wanted to go downtown on the right side of the field to his rookie, Chris Sanders. Sanders was a teammate of Joey Galloway at Ohio State, and like Galloway, is just a flat speed burner. And Jeff Fisher and this Houston Oilers team takes every opportunity they can to get the ball down the field as far as possible, as Sanders is averaging over 32 yards a catch.
Second down and 10, Viking 43, minute 25 left first half. Sets up right, comes back left, it is caught but out of bounds. Chris Sanders pulled it in. He's going to argue that he was pushed out by Dwayne Washington.
Well, that was the case there. After going on the other side of the field, sprinting down the field 50 yards, they ran a quick comeback with Sanders, and Washington did an excellent job of not reacting to the bait.
So it's third down and 10, still at the 43-yard line of the Vikings, the spot where they recovered the fumble. And a minute 20 seconds. Time remaining first half. Vikings and Oilers each with 2 timeouts remaining. 4-man rush. Pressure up the middle and it's dropped. It was a little low. Derek Russell could not hang on to it, and Chandler was getting pressure right up the middle from Tuaolo.
Well, it was a little low, Charlie, because Tuaolo was in the process of putting Chandler just a little flat. He was putting him right on his back with that pressure, and that's why that pass was incomplete.
So it is fourth down, still at the 43-yard line. The kicking team is in. Rich Camarilla will be punting, and David Palmer will be dropping back to about the 10-yard line.
And watch the Minnesota defense. They're not taking any chances. Tony Dungy has not pulled his defense. They've got a punt returner back deep in Palmer, but they've got their starting defense on the line just in case of a fake.
And we have some flags flying. It'll be a delay. Vikings just might refuse it. What it does, it gives Camarillo a little more room to operate as far as the kicker is concerned. He wants to drop it inside the 20.
And nobody does it better than Rich Camarillo. He's the all-timer in NFL history.
Delay, penalties accepted, the yardage is declined, still fourth down.
So he'll be kicking from the same spot.
One thing Camarillo can do, Charlie, he's able to, the old coffin corner kicking and placing the ball out of bounds. He doesn't just pooch it high and short.
Fair catch is called for and taken at the 10-yard line by David Palmer, and so the Vikings will take over now with a minute and 9 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first half. The Vikings are up 17-6. They'll be content just to run out the clock.
Well, the biggest mistake you could make right now, I think, if you're the Houston Oilers, is assuming that Dennis Green and his offensive coaches aren't going to take a shot or two here, Charlie. With this offense, as dangerous as their weapons are, and as ineffective as Jeff Fisher's defense has been for really accounting for Chris Carter, I see no reason, unless it's a ridiculous type of a risk-type pass, of not trying to get this ball down the field with this much time left.
Carter is the inside receiver, the slot back on the near side. They run to the far side with Robert Smith. He's going to pick up a yard, maybe a couple. So they may just let the clock do the work. Or they may just let the clock lull you to sleep.
A little possum.
And then go deep down the near side. Vikings leading at 17-6. A couple of very costly penalties against the Oilers. One in particular where they had the interception return for the touchdown. That was called back on the roughing the passer. Vikings went in to score a swing of 14 points. Carter deep sideline. Does he have possession? Did he hold on to it? They said he did. Darrell Lewis is the man who had the coverage on him. And Chris Carter just right at the sideline.
I tell you, if I'm Jeff Fisher and Steve Sidwell as defensive coordinator, I go in here at the half and I just go to the chalkboard and I say, guys, we're gonna read numbers. Both feet are down, the catch is made, but you know, guys, we're gonna read numbers. This is an 8 and a 0. See number 80? Get somebody on number 80. If they throw it to him, tackle him.
I would suggest 2 on number 80. First down, Moon to throw. He goes deep far side, and it is incomplete. Of course, he was going to Carter. This time he threw it behind him. And he knew that he was open, and he's mad at himself. So it'll be second down and 10, 23 seconds. That is the time remaining here in the first half.
You saw that first play of this series, the little run to the left. I think it was a case of Dennis Green just playing a little possum, showing them a little run and then hoping they soft up. Because I can tell you as a former offensive player, nothing makes you madder than having timeouts, having time, having great talent, not going for it in these situations.
Yeah, whistles and flags flying. And speaking of that, as a reminder, the Vikings, of course, still have 2 timeouts remaining. And with 23 seconds.
Prior to the snap, number 87, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's on the tight end, Adrian Cooper. They still have time to get something going here.
Oh, they definitely do. I mean, it's not really a factor. 23 seconds for this offense with Warren Moon is one of the most accurate long throwers to ever play this game. And these receivers, I mean, if you concentrate too much on a Chris Carter, look at your double jeopardy. You're looking at a Jake Reed, and don't forget about David Palmer.
And also, Qadri Ismail and David Palmer now in as a 4 wide receiver set. 3 on the far side, 1 on the near side. Moon throws back underneath the covers to the far side, and then scooting out of bounds is Qadri Ismail. Darrell Lewis was there. That will stop the clock with 16 seconds left in the half.
This is a great approach, and it's an approach that I really love, is an offense staying aggressive. So often you'll see teams finish halves, and matter of fact, you know, we were in Philadelphia a few weeks ago, and we watched the Philadelphia Eagles basically run out the clock with 1 minute and 10, 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the ball game.
With no hurry up at all.
This is the way you finish it. You finish with a seed of doubt for the second half of the defensive mind.
Third down and 11. The ball at the 33-yard line. And Moon goes deep down the sideline, has 2 receivers, including Carter, and he is wide right. Jake Reed was also there, and they were drawing 5 Oilers along with him. So now we have 9 seconds, and it's 4th down. Mike Saxon will come in to punt.
And now what you're doing here is you're going to give the ball back, barring a incredibly zigzag long type of a return here by Mel Gray. You're going to give them the ball back in a situation where they basically have to kneel down and fall on the ball. They can't afford to take a risk and risk a turnover.
End over end kick. Gray a fair catch, and he takes it at the 25-yard line. That, of course, stops the clock with 3 seconds left in the first half. So the Oilers have an opportunity either to kneel down or they can go for broke.
Yeah, now this is a situation where I don't like being too flashy. In this situation, you're down 17-6. You've got this many seconds left, 3 seconds left in the game. If you're Jeff Fisher, you look at Chris Chandler before he goes in the field. You say, bring a little mustard with you. Put some on that football. Eat it. Don't do anything dumb with it.
And this is a formation that he's just going to kneel down. And he does. That will take the countdown. And it is now halftime. Vikings 17, Oilers 6. Now let's join Greg Gumbel for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Brought to you. This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be great and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
Welcome to those of you who have been watching the Oilers and the Minnesota Vikings, along with Mike Ditka and Joe Montana. I'm Greg Gumbel. Here are the scores and highlights as they stand right now. First of all, in Buffalo, the Bills and the Jets have just reached the break, with Buffalo holding a 16-3 halftime lead. Jim Kelly and the Bills have won 3 in a row. Boomer Esiason went down and out in the second quarter. Look at Bruce Smith. Untouched from the far side, he levels Esiason, who suffered a concussion. He was down on the field for approximately 5 or 6 minutes before he was helped off. Esiason doubtful for a return today. The Jets with a 3rd and 1 from the Bills 4. Adrian Morrell loses 6, and the Jets have to settle for a field goal. Still without a rushing touchdown this year, the only NFL team. A Dexter Carter fumble then led to this just before halftime. Kelly to Bill Brooks, 15 yards and a touchdown. Kelly 6 of 12 for 59, but look at Thurman Thomas's rushing yardage. What do you think as you watch this game, Joe?
Well, I think other than the last series there where they get a break on turnover and they get the ball in the end zone, they're still having the same problems in the red zone. They're not punching it in. They've got 2 field goals, 3 field goals, and a missed one. And other than that last break, they're still having their problems offensively.
Yeah, and that last-minute touchdown turned it from a close game into a 16-3 Buffalo lead at halftime in Dallas. The Cowboys, with Troy Aikman playing today, leading Green Bay now into the 3rd quarter, 17-3. Aikman has thrown a 10-yard touchdown pass to Jay Novacek in this game. In Minnesota, the game that you're watching, the Vikings are leading the Oilers by a score of 17-6. What do you think about this game, Mike?
Well, right now, the Vikings got a little break. They had a touchdown call back against them, and then they went and capitalized. But the main thing I see in the game right now, Moon and Carter are too much for the Houston defense. They're playing great football. Moon is throwing the ball great, but Carter's made some catches that are unbelievable.
Yeah, one funny thing about the Oilers, they are 0-3 at home. They are 2-0 on the road this season, but the Vikings lead at 17-6. In Jacksonville, the Jaguars leading the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-7 at halftime. Neil O'Donnell back at the helm for the Steelers after missing 4 games with a broken little finger. Jaguars quarterback Mark Brunell, though, with Cedric Tillman, 10-yard touchdown pass, 7-0 Jacksonville. Still in the first, the Jaguars punt. Pittsburgh's Andre Hastings fumbles on the return, and the Jaguars recover. And that set up this 6-yard run by James Stewart. Jaguars were up 14-0. They added a field goal. The Jacksonville Jaguars are, as Don Criqui mentioned, the expansion team no one wants to play.
Well, I tell you one thing, they're playing tough, physical football. I think Tom Coughlin has them doing exactly what he wants them to do. It's no nonsense. I say this, though. I think Pittsburgh's going the other way. Their offense looks anemic right now.
All right, Mike, in Tampa, the Bengals and the Bucks doing battle at Tampa Stadium at halftime. It's the Bucks by 4 at 10-6. First regular season meeting for Bucks coach Sam Weish against his former team. Trent Dilfer, the starting quarterback after being knocked out of last week's game with a concussion. Watch this one. Alvin Harper, 49 yards to the Bengal 19-yard line. And then Eric Rett caps the 49-yard drive with a 2-yard touchdown run, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Tampa Bay had a 10-3 lead at that point. They are leading it now 10-6 at halftime. In Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bears only by 1 over Carolina, 14-13 early in the 3rd quarter, and the Eagles and the Redskins in a shootout, 24-17. Rodney Peete to Fred Barnett, 2 yards, the difference in that game. And we will send you back to Minnesota for the second half right after these words from your local station.
Welcome back to the Houston-Minnesota game. Let's take a look at the Coors Light halftime stats.
Well, you know, naturally time of possession in this stat has got to be pretty even because both offenses were running the ball pretty much at will at each other. But the story of this game really so far, Charlie, is 1 is a turnover, 2 is a penalty, and 3 is definitely Chris Carter.
Oh, yes. And speaking of Chris Carter, here he is in person. On videotape.
He had some great catches.
He
one
did.
for a touchdown, this one for a touchdown, making a little burnt toast out of the defensive backfield of the Houston Oilers. And it's time to get that reading lesson in. Find number 80, guys.
He now has, as a Viking, 35 touchdown reception, takes over solo possession of 3rd place, and pushes our good friend Ahmad Rashad down to 4.
Well, we talked about the turnover and the penalty. Here it is. Darrell Lewis guesses, jumps on the interception. He takes that back for 6 points the other way. But on that play, a penalty flag is thrown. What's called? Canavis McGee. They can't be calling that for that tap in the helmet. It's got to be for the way McGee finished off Warren Moon. It wasn't for that little brush. It was for the twist and the yank to the ground.
But I think also something that you said when we were talking about during halftime is that you do not necessarily agree with the rule. But as the rule is now stated, is that will be called every time.
Especially against the quarterback.
Yeah.
You can do it to receivers. You can
Yeah.
do it to running backs.
Yeah.
You better not do it to a quarterback.
No, if you do it against the quarterback, then you're going to see flags flying. All right, we're set to go now with the second half, and the Minnesota Vikings will have the first opportunity on offense in the second half. And it is taken on the far side at the 11-yard line by David Palmer. And Palmer returns across the 30 out to about the 31-yard line. So the Vikings up 17-6 will have the first offensive shot as we take a look at a quarterback comparison.
You know, Chris Chandler throwing a lot of passes, a little bit over 50% in his completions. But the big deal in the comparison, one thing you don't see, you see an interception for Chandler, you see 2 touchdowns for Warren Moon, and actually Chandler has no Chris Carter on his side of the ball. One thing Warren Moon does have in front of him is his all-pro guard Randall McDaniel's out of this game, Charlie, with a pulled hamstring. Everett Lindsey, number 61, is in at left guard.
So it is a first down at the 30-yard line. And Moon comes out throwing. Pass is complete to Jake Reed. And Reed along the near side is going to pick up around 6 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 4. And one of the things you mentioned this earlier, and that is that he has 2 very fine receivers in Chris Carter and in Jake Reed, but also they have very good size. Carter's 6'3", 206. Jake Reed is 6'3", 216.
And if you get mystified with that kind of the big, tall receivers, then they've got the Ismails and they've got the Palmers, who are more the speedier, shorter guys that can run right flat by you.
Second down and 4. Moon to throw, and this one is intercepted. And then the lateral, that's a forward lateral. Flags are flying down the sideline. They're going into calling this one back. As Eddie Robinson was finally bumped out of bounds. Was that Eddie Robinson?
That's Darrell Lewis. Darrell Lewis made that interception,
yeah,
Charlie, and made the guess. It was Bowden, 58, the linebacker. But Darrell Lewis did it again to Warren Moon. He's used to seeing Warren Moon. He knows where he's going with the ball.
I think this was going to stand up.
Oh, it's going to stand up, and it was a great another guess. Just a fantastic guess and an assumption by a cornerback of taking a chance.
It was a forward lateral.
Illegal forward pass on the defense after the interception. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Right there, easily in front when he flipped out to Bowden by about a yard and a half, 2 yards.
For the Oilers, Blaine Bishop has a fumble recovery. Darrell Lewis now has his second interception, but the only one that counts. Martin Harrison for the Vikings has an interception, and that's the turnovers in the ballgame. So Houston now at the Minnesota 45-yard line, first down. We're not quite a minute into the third quarter. Stumbling coming back, a little swing to the right flat. One-hand grab by Thomas, and he pulls it in down the sideline.
The Vikings defenders are pretty lucky he decided to go out of bounds, because they all, 3 or 4 of them took shots at him, and they all bounced off.
They're going to mark him out around the 38-yard line. So it's going to be second down and 3.
Yeah, puts Chandler at 12 of 20 passing-wise, and what he's missing in his passing game right now is the big play guy. They're completing a lot of little short dink and dunk stuff, but right now he's got nobody that stepped up and said they can take the ball 20 yards after a 5-yard catch.
Second and 3, here's Thomas. We have flags flying on both sides of the line. And this penalty will go against the Vikings.
Number 90 of the defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That is Derek Alexander drawing his first start. He's the rookie, taken in the first round of the draft. You know, he's from Florida. I believe he's from Jacksonville. And yes, he is. And he wanted to fly his family up, but he didn't find out that he was going to start till a couple of days ago. And
he said $1,000 a crack.
He said there were 7 that wanted to come up. He said, wait a minute.
You know, that's usually, Mom, do you want to come? You can't bring anybody with you, but do you want to come?
Watch on satellite. So we'll say hello to one of his friends watching on satellite. Here's a sign.
Jack Del Rio. All this guy's really done since he's come here to Minnesota He's got more interceptions than any other linebacker in the league over the last 3 or 4 years. And he is the guy you look at when there's going to be a big play made defensively. For some reason, if he's not the person directly responsible for it, he's right around the ball when it happens. I mean, everything seems to spin off Jack Del Rio in the middle.
It was a first down at the 33-yard line. Now it's going to be second down and 18. Oh, a big play for Jack Del Rio and the Vikings. And Chandler goes back to throw, and we've got whistles again. Remember, at the end of the first quarter, we kind of looked at each other and said it's fast-moving, not a lot of flags, very quick-moving. All of a sudden, the brakes have been put on.
False start prior to the snap, number 77. 5-yard penalty.
Kevin Donnelly.
Keep an eye on this, Charlie. I think Chris Chandler just did a little baiting of his own. The flag was thrown, the whistles were blown. Martin is running, Chris Sanders, is running down the field on a flat-out, going for the end zone pass pattern. Chris Chandler threw the ball out in the flat, trying to say he was going to stop. It was going to be a comeback pass. He's trying to set the defensive backfield up in the Minnesota Vikings for a pass down the field.
Second down and 24. Chandler goes deep, and it is dropped. Jeffries went up for it. It was right in his hands. That was a great throw. He had 4 defenders around him. He couldn't pull it in.
Well, if you're a wide receiver and you play like this, you might as well be a defensive back, because he does a great job of knocking this one down. Good hand position. See him bat that thing down. That's perfect defensive play. Unfortunately, he's a wide receiver, but it was a perfect defensive play.
Third down and 24. Going deep down the far side, has a man open, but he is closed. There should be a flag. The defender never turned around. That was Dwayne Washington. He was watching the receiver all the way. He's got to turn and look back.
Well, let's have a look at this, Charlie. He's the outside receiver. Selling things. That's Sanders. Watch what happens. Exactly what we talked about. That ball was thrown into the back of the defender, hit the defender before the defender hit Sanders, the wide receiver. That's why that wasn't a flag, Charlie, but that's exactly what I just talked about. They were trying to bait him, trying to sell him on that down the field. They had him. The play was just short.
So it is fourth down and forever, and that means that Rich Camarillo is going to kick for Houston. David Palmer is the return man. We've got flags again.
Hey, next time you reach for the flag, why don't you Chris Chandler, let's go.
Delay on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
We've had half a dozen delay penalties in the ballgame, haven't we? I'm looking to see where the 25-second clock is. Well, it's hard to find.
13 penalties, and like you brought up the point, Charlie, are very smooth, offensively executed, and then defensively executed, stopping those first 3 drives in the red zone areas. And now suddenly the execution on both sides of the ball, or I should say all 3 sides of the ball, through the officials, has fallen off.
Taken at the 7-yard line and then out of bounds. And so Minnesota will go to work at the own 11-yard line. They're up 17-6. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Chris Chandler talking on the phone with his offensive coordinator, Jerry Rome, and Rome's got to tell him something he obviously already knows. Chris, you had him deep, you had 6, the pass was short.
The Vikings will start from their own 10-yard line. They lead in the ballgame 17-6. We have just over 12 minutes. That is the time remaining. We're in the third quarter. Vikings staying on the ground. Robert Smith will get the call, and he's going to not quite work his way back to the line of scrimmage.
It's been interesting, Charlie. That run was over the left side of the Vikings offense. We noted earlier in the game they were running on the right side, had more success over the big guys. You know, the 2 young guys, Corey Stringer, the rookie, and David Dixon, who they listed as second-year players, been around a few practice squads and whatnot, but I think they're much better off just trying to wear down that other side of the defense of the Houston Oilers with those big guys. They got 700 pounds over there. They might as well use it.
Warren Moon does not like what he sees. He's going to take a timeout. That stops the clock with 11:32 left to go in the third. Strange call. Back in a moment.
Welcome back. And, you know, Charlie, we talk about big linemen. Big linemen are 300-pound guys, have been for several years. There's 11 players between these two teams today that are 300-pound linemen. And we talked about those two guys alone being 700.
I was on the elevator. I told you about this morning. I got on the elevator with Corey Stringer and David Dixon. They took up the whole elevator. I mean, they are big.
You had to wait for the door and them to park.
That's right. They're both 6'5". One is 360, the other is 340. Moon to throw. Underneath the coverage, it is caught, and then stumbling reception.
Now, you know, and talking about those 300-pound guys, and remember, 360 there in number 71 Dixon, 340 in Corey Stringer. I got a new category. You see that that isn't ER. I mean, it's the best series on TV, but this is a point I'm trying to make is is there big It's a new category, 325 plus. We got two linemen in this game.
Bigger than a rhinoceros, bigger than big. Third down and 4. When they sit on you, you go to the emergency room for sure. Here's Warren Moon over the middle. It is intercepted. This could be a Houston touchdown. Cuts back behind Warren Moon is Chuck Cecil.
Chuck Cecil.
A name from the past.
A guy set out of football last year. I talked to him several times this offseason. Look at the enthusiasm. Look how happy he is coming into this game. He dislocated his shoulder 2 weeks ago, but still playing. Watch Warren Moon look. Watch Chuck Cecil guess and jump right there. And that's 6 points. Because Warren Moon is a lot of things, but a tackler isn't one of them.
He's not. And here's Warren's reaction.
Well, he was better off with his reaction. His tackling ain't going to get it, and the Oilers are going to go for 2 here.
Margin here is 5, 17-12. Successful 2-point conversion. They're within a field goal of time.
And remember, in a Haywood Jeffries, you've got an incredibly tall, a big wide receiver to throw that fade to. He's listed at 6'2". He's at least as tall as I am, and I'm 6'3".
Instead, they come back and run in and reaching in. Yes, it is Rodney Thomas. All the football has to do is break the plane of the goal line. It does. The 2-point conversion, and is now 17-14. The Vikings lead only by 3.
Watch the reaching. Watch the effort by Thomas. He stopped. He's short. He's in. Watch Rodney Thomas, and watch the pad. I call him the pad for a very good reason. Jack Del Rio, middle linebacker, 55, cut block. He's on the ground. He's now a pad. Grab, knees don't touch the ground. Thomas just kind of uses them to scooch you on over, and there's the pad right there. And that's a very humbling, very vulnerable position when you're laying like that and the guy's crawling over you and there's nothing you can do about it.
And here's the kickoff by the Houston Oilers. David Palmer will take it at the 10. Now he's to the 20, slips a tackle, and then he has dropped near the 25-yard line. 10 minutes and 37 seconds. That is the time remaining third quarter. Barnes was there for the Houston Oilers. Dallas leading Green Bay. Jacksonville, they're still in front of Pittsburgh by 10. They're in the third quarter with about 5 minutes left. Tampa Bay leading Cincinnati. Carolina there for real also. They're close to the Bears. Bears lead that one 17-13. Redskins and Eagles are tied at 24, and here the Vikings are up by 3, 17-14. As Robert Smith gets the call.
This is a real confidence check time for Warren Moon. You know, obviously a quarterback that enjoyed a lot of success in the first half, getting the ball to Chris Carter, but right now, more than lurking in the back of his mind, it have got to be those plays. And And Denny Green's quarterback has been guessed on 3 times. One came back, but 3 times the defense of the Houston Oilers have guessed on their former teammate. They've made him pay.
Second down and 8, the ball on the 27-yard line. One play action fake. He's going to scramble for it. He's going to be dropped close to the 30-yard line. He's going to pick up about 3 on the play. It'll be third down and 5 for the Vikings. Joe Bowden with the tackle for the Oilers.
That's double dangerous running for Warren Moon in this offense, because if you look at their depth chart, they've got Brad Johnson behind Warren Moon, and behind Brad Johnson is not Brad Johnson, I'm sorry. Behind Warren Moon is Will Fuhr, and then Steve McNair, the #1 draft pick. I mean, depth is sorely lacking for the Oilers, for the Vikings.
Third down and 5. Moon from the shotgun. Goes underneath the coverage pass, is complete to Kadri Ismail. Was that Ismail or Ampli? And it'll be the first down. It was Ampli.
And one person that's sort of missing out of this mix right now, and I like the fact that he's missing, is Chris Carter. Warren Moon is spreading this ball around, getting the ball to Lee, moving it about a little bit, and in a little while, you watch Chris Carter. Let's keep our eye on Chris Carter, because Warren Moon's going to find out what kind of a reading lesson the defense for Houston got. See if they can keep and find number 80.
Smith and Evans in the backfield. Smith, the ball carrier. The line of scrimmage of 43. He's going to go to the 45. He'll pick up a couple on the play. It'll be second and 8 as Wortham makes the tackle again for the Houston Oilers. 8.5 minutes. Clock is moving. That is the time remaining. We're in the third quarter here at the Metrodome. The Oilers led after 1, 3-0. Vikings were up 17-6 at the half, and the Oilers are back in it with Chuck Cecil's 20-yard interception return for the touchdown, the 2-point conversion, and the Vikings lead by 3, 17-14. Jordan, the tight end, was the motion man. He's back to the near side. Again to Jake Reed. And Reed causes a couple of Oilers to miss. He makes a great move at the 49-yard line.
Well, this is kind of a physics play, Charlie. This is momentum, gravity, and weight in action. There's the momentum. There's the gravity. There's the weight in action by Darrell Lewis. He gets everything going, committed so fast, so far forward, he can't stop as fast as Jake Reed can.
Well, Jake Reed now comes wide to the near side. Palmer is wide to the far side with Carter in the slot. Play action fake. Then wants to go deep, throws it back underneath the coverage, and it is incomplete.
And if Joe Bowden is looking at the ball and not at Robert Smith, he's got an interception.
Smith just juggled it and couldn't hang on to it.
Just sort of tipped it. You know, I don't know if he wasn't expecting this ball from Warren Moon, because Moon gets in trouble. He's got to jump up. He's got to give it to him a little early and just a little bit funny. You see the way Warren kind of shot-putted it and pushed it, changed the rotation on the ball, and it wasn't what Robert Smith was used to seeing.
Reed and Carter go to the far side, Palmer to the near side. Here is Ampli, straight shot up the middle. He is upended at the 40-yard line. He'll pick up 4. It'll be third down and 6 for the Vikings.
It's really an interesting predicament that Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of Houston's in. You know, they've gotten to where they are because of the guessing, because of the chances they've taken. And right now they're in a position where they've eliminated the wide receivers to a certain extent because they played a little different. They're not attacking. They're not taking the chances. Do you take a chance and risk the emergence or re-emergence of Chris Carter?
Here's the shotgun. Pass is complete to Ampli, who is back with Warren Moon, just sliding out in the right flat just enough to pick up the first down by about a half a yard. So the Vikings retain possession and the drive keeps moving, and that is the second time in this drive that the Vikings have converted on third down. 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6.
Well, you know, why has Ampli spent his time in San Francisco and here Simply put, he's a running back that can come out of the backfield and has very soft hands. You saw the way he just snatched that ball out of the air. A lot of backs will wait and sort of cradle it forward. He literally reached out and snatched that ball from the top.
Robert Smith now the remaining back at the 33, first down Vikings. Play action fake. Moon wants to go deep. He does. Pass is incomplete right at the 5-yard line. He was going to Jake Reed, and excellent coverage by the Houston Oilers. It was Darrell Lewis.
Well, it was a good pass. It was a good effort by Jake Reed, but a better effort after the fact by Darrell Lewis. Watch, he's beat. He turns around.
Play action fake. Moon wants to go deep. He does. Pass is incomplete right at the 5-yard line. He was going to Jake Reed, and excellent coverage by the Houston Oilers. It was Darrell Lewis.
Well, it was a good pass. It was a good effort by Jake Reed, but a better effort after the fact by Darrell Lewis. Watch, he's beat. He turns around. Now watch his arms. Reach in and strip out. Reed's in position, and what Reed doesn't do is what we just saw Amp Lee did. Sort of reach out and snatch the ball. He doesn't snatch it. He lets it get into his body, and that cost him a catch.
Second down and 10, 33-yard line. Blitz, flag. Moon is down. Flags were flying.
Neutral zone.
Flag on the play.
That many drooling, slobbering defensive players going after a quarterback's got to be offsides. Oh, no, not offense.
Penalty against the Vikings. Oilers will refuse it with a sack that'll take the ball back to the 41. Shouldn't take that long.
With a sack like that in a play, you don't want that.
Illegal shift. The offense, 2 men moving. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Sure, you don't want to give him the down over. So it's third down and 18 now. The ball at the 41-yard line. With Robert Smith and Amp Lee flanking Warren Moon in the shotgun. Slot on the right side. Moon goes deep and he overthrows Jake Reed. Trying to pick him up down the sideline. It'll be fourth down.
That is another chance or another time Warren Moon has missed an open receiver, because he definitely has Jake Reed trying to dump it off in that area between Barnes the corner and Chuck Cecil the safety 26. Right there he's open, but he does not float that thing and touch it in. That is a pass that requires that zip touch. The ball's got to kind of zip the first 20 yards, then go into a touch dive so you can get it in between the zone.
Mike Saxon will be kicking. He hangs this one up. Mel Gray will let it bounce behind him. Takes the Vikings bounce, but a reverse Vikings bounce, and they lose some yardage out near the 15. We'll step aside. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
It's coming at it when you're talking about comedies.
Houston from their own 14-yard line, trailing by 3. 5.5 left to go in the third. Rodney Thomas is the remaining man. The Oilers come out throwing, and this one is right on target. Chandler may just pick up the first down as he goes to Chris Sanders. Dwayne Washington, very tight coverage on him, but it's a first down. Good throw, good catch.
Well, that's the kind of play that Chandler and the Oilers offense needs. They need a receiver that wants to get the ball, that wants to go after the ball, that wants to make the tough catch. And believe me, that's the tough catch. And Jeffries has not made it so far. And if somebody steps up, why not the rookie?
26-yard line, first down. Sanders averaging 32.5 yards of reception. Here's Marion, but he's going to lose a lot of it back. We're going to step aside. Greg Gumbel is going to update in New York. Greg.
Charlie at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Boomer Esiason out with a concussion. Bubby Brister, 16-yarder to the rookie. Wayne Trevette It was 16-10, but the Bills have now added a field goal and increased their lead to 9. It's 19-10 Buffalo in the third. Charlie?
Thank you, Greg. Here in the third, Minnesota leads by 3, 17-14. Second down, 14. Chandler sets, fires, good catch at the 31-yard line. This was Derek Russell who went up, and he had coverage all over him, and he pulls it down. So all of a sudden, Chris Sanders, Derek Russell making the tough catches for the Oilers.
Well, especially for young receivers, you know, wanting to can be contagious. You watch one guy that's got absolutely no experience in Sanders putting a want-to catch and taking a shot. That sort of embarrasses the rest of the group into making their catch and taking their shots.
Corey Fuller and Robert Griffith were all over him for the Vikings. It's third down and 4. Two very tough catches by the Oilers. For the first down, this will be close. It is caught by Derek Russell, and let's see where he gets the spot. It is a spot of the catch, and it will be a first down. So it was a struggle for the Oilers, but all of a sudden, you've got some receivers that are stepping up for them.
Well, it's what they need to do against this Vikings defense. They've seen right now that the running game is not going to be where they're going to do the most business. And Jeff Fisher and his offensive coaches have said at this point, fine, if we're not going to run the ball, let's go to the next best thing, which is a short, accurate passing game.
Marion Butts is the remaining back. And he carries. There's very little there. Maybe a half yard. That's going to be it.
About the only thing there, Charlie, is a good reason to throw another short pass.
That's right. Barker on the tackle. We go right back to the drawing board and throw the ball. Roy Barker with the tackle.
There's Jerry Rome right there in the middle. The offensive coordinator. Last year, the wide receivers coach here in Minnesota. Another advantage, I think, to the Houston defense is having a former wide receivers coach to talk to about what do these guys like to do.
Vikings way out in front in total offense, but only by 3 points, 17-14. 2 minutes to go in the third. Flag is down. Vikings are offside. This one is down. Haywood Jeffries, the intended receiver.
Well, that should go in the 5-yard gain category for Chris Chandler. He drew them offsides on that one.
Yeah, and he took a hit too, didn't he? He's getting a lot of pressure.
Offsides, defense number 51, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Broderick Thomas.
Watch at the top of the screen, Broderick Thomas coming up, 51. He jumps early, and he's going to get heat. Where does he get the heat? Mainly from the middle. Once again, Ezra Tuaolo. They're double teaming John Randall inside, effectively stopping him, but Tuaolo's been a factor.
Now back to the running game. It's still not there. This time it's Rodney Thomas.
And Derek Alexander absolutely exploded, Charlie, through the middle of the defense.
Derek Alexander, we mentioned, number 90, the rookie, number 1 draft choice, Florida State. First starting assignment.
Right here, playing in that kind of cockeyed tackle there in the middle. Just doing what you have to do. Just shedding Stepnoski, the all-pro center for the Oilers, and just exploding into the backfield.
Third down and 6. Chandler taking a lot of time. Cannot get around the corner, and he's going to go about 3 yards shy.
Well, if they have 300 pages in their playbook in the offense of the Houston Oilers, I don't know what number that plays on, but I'd tear that thing up. That looked terrible.
I think perhaps it's in the epilogue.
Yeah, well, yeah, soon to be removed.
Soon to be removed, yeah. That was strange.
They just pretty much the receivers weren't running routes, the backs weren't blocking, the linemen weren't blocking, and Chris Chandler looked less than excited about having to run with it.
One of those, let's get out of here right now. All right, punting situation. It's Camarillo to kick. Pretty good one. Fair catch is called for and then taken at the 15-yard line by David Palmer. We have 24 seconds left in the third. Vikings by 3. Back in a moment. All right, here's the situation. We got 24 seconds left in the third. A lot of time remaining. Vikings had the ball deep in their own territory going against the Oiler defense, led now by their head coach, Jeff Fisher, who is a defensive expert.
Well, really, you've got a defensive coordinator in Steve Sidwell, and then you got the head coach and Jeff Fisher. Very different philosophy. Sidwell had those great New Orleans Saints defenses with all kinds of great physical, overbearing talent. Jeff Fisher's from the Buddy Ryan school of you attack whenever possible, and then if that doesn't work, then you attack harder. So you've got a guy that's relied on a conservative game plan with great talent. You got a guy that's had pretty good talent with a very aggressive game plan. So far today, what you've seen, I think, is a very, very good mix, especially in this second half, where Jeff Fisher and his defense have managed to neutralize Chris Carter, who it seemed we were calling his number on every offensive play, half the punts, a couple defensive plays. I mean, he was everywhere.
Now, for these two ball clubs, are they at the crossroads in the season?
I don't think so. You know, remember, Minnesota plays in the NFC Central. You can win 9 games, theoretically, the way these teams go, and still, if not win the division, finish second.
Here's the pitch. On the first down, it's Robert Smith.
Robert Smith, the ball carrier.
But to follow up on your question, Charlie, I do think Houston's at that really difficult stage for Jeff Fisher, their head coach, is kind of that, you know, might, gonna, sorta, maybe. You know, they're at 2 and 3. They've done some good things. It's time to take a step up or a step back.
Darrell Lewis with the last tackle. Speaking of steps, into the third. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Vikings 17, Oilers 14. You're watching the NFL on NBC. This is Charlie Jones, Randy Cross. We start the fourth quarter. The Vikings lead by 3. They have the ball. Warren Moon sets. He goes deep up the sideline. And guess who? It is Chris Carter. We haven't heard from Chris for a while. Maybe the Vikings said, well, we haven't needed him for a while. They need him now. What a day he is having.
He's back.
Yes.
Time to get that old reading drill out on the sideline, because you know, that was just a nice executed play by the Minnesota Vikings in that there were 3 receivers flooded that entire zone area on that side of the field.
Gain of 16, first down, 30-yard line. And Moon to throw on first down. And then he was trying to spike it.
Yeah, he's going
to be an illegal spike.
It's grounding the ball. He's still inside the tackles. He's grasped by the legs. They're saying he threw that away to avoid a sack, and that is not your basic stretch of the imagination call there.
No intentional grounding.
Now watch his legs. Definitely in the grasp. Definitely a sack. Not even close.
Intentional grounding, number 1. Spotted the foul, loss of down, second down.
Oh, Warren flustered him right there for a second. Didn't know he was that close to him.
All right, Warren Moon, first half 15 of 21, second half 6 of 11.
More importantly, 2 touchdowns in the first half, 2 interceptions in the second half. They're outguessing a very good guesser in Warren Moon.
Second and 21, the ball back at the 19-yard line. Here's the draw. His Ampley gets some of it back. Not a lot. He's going to get about 8 back, so it's going to be third down, still long.
Now here's a position where Denny Green and Brian Billick, his offensive coordinator, time after time today, have run clear out type pass patterns, where they've cleared out the zone in back of a receiver, drag them back over inside, and then let the receiver run for a first down. So otherwise, in this situation, you're looking at a 7 or 8 yard pass and a 5-yard run.
You need 13. Here's the toss into the left flat. Nice move. And another nice move. Still looking for a block and help. And he's not going to find it. He needed 13 yards for the first down. He ended up only with 3.
Well, he's trying to create something here. You know, Chris Carter catches this ball, and there's nowhere to go here. Jackson misses him here. Palmer misses a block. Ishmael gets a block. Now you're going back inside where the bodies get a little bit big.
And Anthony Cook, with a big body of 293 pounds, finally stopped him. So Mike Saxon is going to kick it away to Mel Gray. It's over 13 minutes. Oh, this is a great one. Whoa, great catch. Taken at the 15-yard line. And about 6 yards on the return. Robert Griffith with the stop. Will step aside. Oilers have the ball. Vikings have the lead. Here's a former announcer who found some work on the sideline. 12:53 time remaining in the ball game, along with Randy Cross. I'm Charlie Jones. We're in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Oilers have a first down at their own 21-yard line. They trail the Vikings by 3, 17-14. Marion Butts is the remaining man. And 2 Vikings are offside. Now the question whether or not they were drawn off, there's always the finger pointing to say that they were.
False start prior to the snap, number 88. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And this time they were. It was Roderick Lewis who drew them off.
Now Roderick Lewis is at the top of the screen at tight end. Watch his helmet. Now there's a case where the bark of Chris Chandler got the wrong guy. His bark has gotten the defensive lineman quite a few times, and that time he got Roderick.
And it is Roderick. As we asked him, his mother was the tiebreaker. He said, I like Rod, but Mom likes Roderick. So now and forevermore, it's Roderick. Pass is complete to Rodney Thomas at the 20-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 16. So it'll be second down and 11 at the 20. Dwayne Washington was there for the Vikings.
Much like we said earlier in this half, Charlie, Chris Chandler in this offense needs somebody to step up and make a play. That's especially the Minnesota defense. This Minnesota defense is used to having people step up and make a play. The Houston offense so far has not had a person step up and make a play.
Second down. Goes deep, pass is caught. Going high to bring it down is Chris Sanders, the rookie from Ohio State.
Well, for the second time, Chris Sanders decides that he's going to be the guy to make that play and make a tough one. Because here's a chance, here's an opportunity. A lot of young receivers don't take the chance to make this catch as he dots the I with both feet, gets them in. And the reason the ball gets there is he's got a tough quarterback in Chris Chandler, willing to take his end of the hits.
First down, 34-yard line. 11:54 and counting time remaining. Oilers trailing by 3 is Rodney Thomas. Neither running game has been effective at all, has it?
Well, really, running game in both these teams, especially in this half, has basically been, Charlie, to keep them honest, just in the hope that they've been so devoted and so dedicated to the pass, they'd run right by them.
Devoted and dedicated to the pass.
Defenses, believe me, and Jeff Fisher there is a very good defensive coach, would recognize right away the fact that defenses get dedicated to the pass and go after it.
All right, second down and 12, and you figure that the Oilers are going to dedicate this down to the pass also. We've got flags. Chandler rolling to the near side, being pursued. Slips out of a tackle, then he slides. You know what he did? He kind of bounced his derriere, and he pulled everybody offside.
Well, Broderick Thomas again jumped off sides.
But we have a replay of it. You can see if you watch him. And he is, you know, and he's pulled him off 2 or 3 times.
Well, he's got, Broderick Thomas right now has proven he's got a little quiver in his get-along. 51.
What's his
near
quiver?
guy.
There it is, see? That's the get-along of the quarterback.
Who'd they kill it on? Who'd they call it on the end?
Let's see. Here
Defense, offsides, number 51, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
See, I keep telling you, Charlie, if they don't call it on you, it's great technique. That was great technique by Chris Chandler, giving that little bob.
Oh, yeah. That's the derriere shuffle. I know what I want. I know what I want.
That's called using your whole body as a quarterback.
Could you call it a butt bob?
Yes, you could.
Thank you. Actually, what you do is you call it 2nd down and 7. There you see the time remaining, just under 11 minutes left in the ball. Quick drop, throw, diving reception by Haywood Jeffrey.
Well, Haywood Jeffries has watched the young guys,
back.
and Russell and Sanders, taking their hits and making their plays after he's dropped a few. Getting a quick press up front. Stiff arms the press, goes inside and makes his play. That is exactly what Chris Chandler and this offense need. They need short, successful passes. Because believe me, they keep doing that. It's going to open up that down the field pass again. Chandler had Sanders earlier wide open down the field, underthrew him. He'll get another shot here in the 4th quarter deep.
Charles Mincy with the tackle, first down, 50-yard line. Comes to this side. Jeffries hangs on. He is decked. He is really nailed by Dwayne Washington. Whoa, but he hangs on. So now all of a sudden the receiving corps, the Oilers en masse are stepping up.
Well, you know, this is more of a, this is for the people watching on TV. This is for the people in the stands, and it's for the Vikings on the near sideline to get to hear and listen to that whack, that thwack, that sound, that hit.
Yep.
That didn't hurt Jeffries. Jeffries gets him smiling and laughing, and that's more kind of sound than it is physical effect, and it's more physical effect that he came through and caught it.
Well, it sounded like it. Rolling and throwing passes complete. Tight end Michael Roan has the first down. And so now the Houston Oilers mixing up that offense from their wide receivers, now going back to their tight ends that they featured in the first half. Corey Fuller with the tackle for the Vikings.
Well, they're mixing it up. They're doing a lot of different things, and from an offensive strategy standpoint, you are now physically in field goal range of Al Del Greco. You know, as we saw earlier, Tony Dungy's defense there in the middle with the glasses on was able to stop Houston when they needed to stop them on those long drives, especially the opening.
First down, 36-yard line. Marion Butts. He goes to the 30-yard line. 6 very tough yards. And for the first time in the ballgame, now the ground game is starting to be effective because of the receptions by the wide receivers and the tight end.
Well, for the first time, you're seeing a downhill run. And by a downhill run, I mean that running back is just going. It doesn't look like anybody stops until he gets about a 4 or 5 yard head of steam going instead of having to dodge people in the backfield.
Second down and 4, 30-yard line, 8 minutes time remaining. Butts the remaining back. Roderick Lewis is in motion, and Butts cuts back. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to mark him down about a yard shy of the first down. John Randall makes the tackle.
Well, this is only Marion Butts' second week actually with Houston.
12 days.
And the way Jeff Fisher used him last week, short yardage goal line. It got 3rd and short. It got 4th and short. They went to Marion Butts with the power. And those stats will tell you, you got 11 carries for 23 yards and the coach likes you. If you're running for the tough yards, well, you're obviously not a flashy running back.
Seemed like he carried more than that, though, didn't he?
Well, Jeff Fisher said anywhere from 15 to 20 carries today for him.
They're down and 1. Timeout call. You're running out of time on the 25-second clock. There was like 1 second remaining when he took the timeout. We'll step aside. Vikings by 3. Back in a moment. The Houston Oilers, their record is 2-3. The Minnesota Vikings, their record is 2-2. Coming off of the bye week, the Oilers are heading into their bye week. And by the way, since Dennis Green has been the head coach of the Vikings, they have always won on each side of the bye. Third down and 1, 27-yard line of the Vikings.
Power backfield formation. Wycheck at fullback.
Marion Butts. Oh, this is going to be close. They were waiting for him. The Vikings say no. And let's see where he gets the spot.
It's all a matter of where he burrowed to, because he didn't run but about halfway there. He'd have to burrow to it to get it.
down. Al Del Greco comes out. He'll try and tie it with a field goal. The officials now stop the clock. They want to bring the chains out. They're still waiting. Now the chains are going to come out to make it official. Jeff Fisher asked for the measurement, which of course he can, and that buys time to get his field goal kicking team out.
He's going to be, I think, about a foot short.
You're absolutely right. Well, from there, you'll be kicking from the 35. It'll be about a 45-yard field goal attempt.
This is a big momentum-type swing for the Oilers either way on this play here. They can tie it up. They can keep pressuring and keep guessing with Warren Moon on defense. If they miss it, it can be a real deflator, because then Minnesota comes in with 6 minutes and 45 seconds or so to go and just runs the ball in the next possession.
44-yard attempt. He's hit from 20 in the ballgame. He is hit from 50 in the ballgame. And that is looking good.
Kick is good.
The kick is good. We are tied at 17 with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the ball game. Here's one more look as we step aside. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you watch this game to see if Warren Moon would respond to the pressure of facing his old team, the Houston Oilers, and exactly how you do, you've seen a pretty good performance so far out of Moon, but I think the best is yet to come, and definitely that pressure is coming in big bunches right now for Warren Moon.
We are tied at 17. Here's a kick to David Palmer of the Vikings. He's to the 20. Still on his feet, spins his way to the 25-yard line. We're going to spin our way across the country for an update with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Charlie, Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Thurman Thomas having a whale of a day for the Bills. He scores from a yard out, 133 yards rushing on the day. That's a season high for him. The Bills lead at 26-10 in the fourth, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Greg. We are tied here, but what's on everybody's mind? How is Jacksonville doing against Pittsburgh? We'll get an update on that one. We're working on that information.
Right now, it's that man's game to win or lose right now, Charlie. Warren Moon will win or lose this game for the Vikings.
Play action fake, has time, Chefs throws, pass is complete to Carter, and he is out of bounds. That is the 12th reception for Chris Carter, and he has about 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. As we check out the ticker, Green Bay getting close to Dallas now. There it is. Jacksonville still leading Pittsburgh. 8:44. A lot of time to go in that ball game. Not so much left here. 6:16 and counting time remaining. The ball at the 30-yard line. We are tied at 17. It is second down and 5. We're staring overtime right in the face. On the ground, Robert Smith. Nothing there. A yard, maybe 2. So it'll be third down, and let's call it 3.
Well, for Warren Moon and the Vikings to pull this off and for them to beat the Houston Oilers in this situation on a fourth quarter comeback, they're not going to do it with Robert Smith being handed the ball and running the ball. They're going to do it with their wide receivers, Reed and Carter. They're going to do it throwing the ball to Smith out of the backfield, getting him in more of an air situation.
And for Fuad Reveiz for a field goal attempt, they would like to be in the neighborhood of the 20-yard line. That'd be around a 38 to 40-yard attempt. Here's Moon from the shotgun. He throws past and it's caught. It is Ampley, first down. Converting on third down and 3, and the flag is down to the 39-yard line. And it's going to be the original signal was pass interference against Houston.
Makes a push off against Ampley, Charlie.
I think you're right. The Oilers said it was against Minnesota. And it is. So you'll bring back the first down. And remember, it was third down and 3.
Offensive pass interference, number 80, 10-yard penalty, still third down.
Third down and 13. A Line of scrimmage now the 22-yard line. Check of the clock, 5:17. That is the time remaining.
Well, still plenty of time in this situation, too, so there's no reason for Warren Moon and the Vikings to try something dumb. You see Dennis Green and Brian Billick there on the sideline for the Vikings, and the last thing they want to see their quarterback and their offense do here is try to take a shot, try to take a chance, and get whipped.
Chris Carter is in the slot on the near side. They go deep up the far side. The pass is caught. It is Jake Reed who pulls it in, and the first down. They needed 13. Jake went high in the air. He has 16, converting on 3rd and 13.
Well, the Oilers defense did what we did, Charlie. We were thinking Chris Carter. We were thinking the ball was going to him. They threw it to Reed. Reed would have come down inbounds. He was bumped out. That's why when you see him landing out like that, that's why it's called a catch. Let the feet get him down.
First down, 38-yard line. 4:52 time remaining. Tied at 17. Moon pump fake. He keeps. And he was not sliding. He rushes for 8 yards on the play. Chuck Cecil finally gets him. He had one option that wasn't there, and he decided, I've got a little room, I'll pick up a quick aid.
Well, he kind of rumbled early before he looked at Chris Carter. That was the rumble. Here's the cocoon. Watch this. Oh, time to curl up. I might get a yard or two, but I'm going cocoon on this one.
Second down and 2. 46-yard line. Vikings in their own territory. Just over 4 minutes remaining. On the ground, Robert Smith gets the call, trying to pick up the first down. It'll be close, but he may have gotten it.
About 20 yards between them and some realistic field goal range right now for Reves.
Maybe 25?
Well, I mean,
They'd like 30.
He can hit a 50-yarder.
Because you have perfect conditions here, too, right?
No, you're indoors. It's not perfect. Should be out there.
Well, if you were outdoors, though, then you'd have the wind and the sun and the snow. No, I'm kidding. All right, here's the measurement. Missing, as you can see. A long smidgen shy of the first down.
That was a pretty shaky spot, I thought. It looked like Robert Smith was well past the first down marker at the end of that run.
I did too. 3:56 time remaining. We're tied 17-17.
With this little to go, remember you've got a quarterback in Warren Moon that is a pretty good-sized quarterback. Don't be surprised if they just run a little sneak right up behind that right side of the offensive line. You need a short yardage situation, go with the girth, go with the big guys.
Now the official moving in from the near side with the spot.
Well,
that should be enough. It'll be a
first down on either side.
Yep, got it both ways. And now they'll stop the clock again. They're going to bring the chains out again. This one I really don't understand. Because the ball, as you can see, is past the 48-yard line, and the chain on the far side is shy of the 48-yard line.
Well, this is a situation, too, from Houston's standpoint, where you really have to remind your defensive players, and it's really the responsibility of more of the mature players on the Houston defensive side to keep your head in the game. Don't let this delay, don't let this slowness that's suddenly happened here, this sort of lag in action, lag in activity, affect your mental approach to the game. Don't be lulled to sleep by this, because if you do, Warren Moon is going to beat you with either a deep slant or a long bomb down the middle to one of his two big receivers, Reed or Carter.
And just where are they? Reed splits wide to the far side, and Carter's in the slot on the far side. On the ground. Couple of good spinning moves by Amp Lee. He's close to a first down. Houston, 42-yard line.
Well, what he's done in the running game is he brings a little change of pace because he never stops moving. Those feet never stop. His head never stops. He's spinning. He's hitting. And between his pass catching and his clutch runs, he's really been a great difference for this offense today.
Chris Dishman with the tackle for the Oilers. 2:41 and counting time remaining. Second down and 1. Here's the first down. And Robert Smith off the right side, 39-yard line.
You really got to like the patience that Dennis Green and Brian Billick, his coordinator, are showing here offensively. They're not getting greedy. They're going what they feel is working well. And right now what's working well is running behind that 700 pounds on the right side of Dixon and Stringer.
Give you an idea, right now it would be a 58-yard field goal attempt. And they, of course, want to get closer. We've got the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the ballgame. We are tied at 17. You're watching the NFL on NBC. With 2 minutes to go in the ballgame, the Vikings have the ball just inside the Houston 40-yard line. And now they're staying with their ground game, but they want to use up as much of the clock as possible. They're going for the field goal attempt. And they don't want to have Houston. They want Houston with as little time as possible with a chance to come back.
Let's not forget the Dennis Green possum factor, too.
I knew you'd bring that up.
Run it, run it, run it. Hope they bite on the run and give yourself a shot at a big one.
First down, 11th play of this drive. And on the ground. Oh, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Robert Smith with the call.
Well, I can see playing for a field goal, but not a 58-yard field goal. You need to move this ball down the field. You need to get it further down.
Second and 9. So now you go to your control passing game?
No, now you go to Chris Carter.
So that's your control.
Yeah, we talked.
Whatever he wants to do. Yeah.
We talked about people stepping up for the Houston Oilers offensively. He is the guy stepping up, and he's going to step up to the top of the screen and put out left.
Do they have single coverage on him?
Yep.
Whoa. Warren is looking to him. That's where he wanted to go. He had coverage, and he in reality is throwing it away.
Yeah, watch what happens here in this man defense, working against Lewis. Bang, there's 5, there's 10, there's a grab. Yeah, less generous officials might have called that pass interference down the field in contact, but in that situation, it's hard to discern for them, I would imagine, between who's initiating the contact, the receiver or the defensive back.
Third down. Well, about 9.5 to go for the first down. 3 seconds on the play clock, going deep and just outside the reach. There's the shot that you talked about. That's the possum shot into the corner.
The possum factor reared its ugly head, but you know that first down run, what it does is it set him up into a punting situation. And again, he's got the receiver open down the field, and I think very uncharacteristically for Warren Moon, he is off on his long passes today.
1 minute and 13 seconds left. Mike Saxon is going to kick it away.
I think we're being charitable saying playing for a field goal. I almost think the Vikings there, Charlie, were playing not to lose.
He just wants to hang it straight up. And it will go out of bounds. No, it's going to kick back in, and then it kicks back outside around the 24-yard line. So now Houston will take over with 1 minute and 1 second left, tied at 17. 1 minute and 1 second, that is the time remaining in regulation play. We're tied at 17. We're staring right in the face of overtime.
Remember something about this defense. If Chris Chandler and the offense decide to throw it, this is a turnover-based defense.
Here's Marion Ball. That's off the right side. He'll pick up 4 yards on the play. He's second down and 6.
And you got both teams now obviously going for an overtime period, being very perfectly happy to play 4 quarters and be tied and You know, Del Greco's got a heck of a strong leg, but it's not this strong. He can't hit a 55 plus, but this puts him somewhere around 40 yards away from getting a shot at a 55 plus.
30 seconds left in regulation. Play action fake. Sack. Whoa. He wanted to go deep to Travis Hanna, who's a speedster down the sideline.
He's hurt too, Charlie.
Oh, he really took a shot. And he has two very bad shoulders.
Well, the left shoulder, he's got a rotator cuff problem. The right shoulder, you see him holding a little bit. He separated a few weeks back. He wanted to pump it. He wanted to get it deep to Travis Hanna. Couldn't get it. Oh, yeah, McDaniel put him down right on the point of that right shoulder. Watch where he comes down. He's folded, and he's landed right on that right shoulder. Well, he talked about that depth at quarterback. Will Fuhr is next up for the Houston Oilers at the quarterback position.
And there is Will, and then, of course, the third quarterback is the rookie Steve McNair. And there is McNair. We asked him about Jeff Fisher, about his progress. He said he's making good progress. He said he's a ways away, and he hopes to get him in some action later on in the season when they have a blowout one way or the other to give him some, some live action. But right now, we'll go into the hands of Will Fuhr.
Well, I think Steve McNair is the starting quarterback in Houston by the middle of next season. Those are the kind of plans I believe they have for him.
He'd be ready that soon?
I think so. Very, very talented, very dangerous weapon. Picking this offense up very quickly with the tutelage of Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator, one of those morning, noon, and night type coach-player relationships. But, in this situation, he's going to watch his second-string quarterback get in here and just go at it and hand the ball off until we get in the overtime period.
And then in addition to the shoulder, you see the knee that he has picked up scraped along the artificial turf.
That's just turf burger there. Yeah. That's playing on AstroTurf. Half the time you don't even know you have a scrape like that somewhere on your body. You're so into it, you've played a game until you step in the shower. And you can't really describe the feeling you get when hot water and soap hit an AstroTurf burn.
Ooh. That catches your attention. Third down and 17. The ball on the 17-yard line. 18 seconds left in the ball game in regulation. And Will Fuhr you expect him just to turn around and hand it off to Marion Butts?
If not straight, just take a knee and fall down and say, let's go into the fifth quarter, the overtime, and see what we can do.
Marion Butts gets the clock.
Alexander with the tackle.
The Vikings now stop the clock with 12 seconds left.
Timeout. Minnesota. That's their second timeout.
Well, the Vikings can have one more opportunity. It will be fourth down. The timeout situation still one apiece.
In this situation, Charlie, if I'm Rich Camarillo, I might take a two-step before I kick this ball, because Minnesota, I think, has got to come after him here. They got nothing to lose. Why not take an all-out assault on the punter?
Either that, normally he stands up, he sets up 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, instead of 18 yards back.
Yeah, I mean, David Palmer, if he catches the ball where he's set up right now, which is on his own about 41-yard line, is well outside of any kind of field goal range for his kicker, Revez.
The other thing, though, is that if he gets any kind of a pressure and forces it, more or less kind of straight up, maybe a 30-yard kick, then a fair catch, the turn with a change of possession stops the clock, and they can get set to go immediately.
Pressure will cause shanks, though.
He gets it off. Fair catch is called for and taken by David Palmer. at the 42-yard line. Now, here's something else. Following a fair catch, you can go with a field goal attempt.
A free kick.
A free kick situation. You can go with a field goal attempt just like a kickoff, and Houston would have to give you 10 yards.
46, ineligible player, number 46.
Well, you've got a 68-yard kick from there.
Which would be just like it, but you got a running start at it. But there, Warren Moon goes to the huddle with 6 seconds. I'll tell you, I like the free kick situation better than this.
Well, you know, if they played for the tie with the ball with plenty of time left if they were moving it, they are really going to play for the tie here. They might go with a Hail Mary.
Well, they have 3 wide to the near side.
But they're going to do nothing that can get them beat.
Warren goes deep, 3 receivers, 5 or 6 defenders. On the rebound, it is caught. It'll be first down inside the 10-yard line. They have run out of time. Time has expired in regulation. We are tied at 17.
Well, he only had 6 seconds left to start with on that play. Now watch what happens. This ball stays in the air for almost 5 seconds. It's tipped naturally by Chris Carter. And it's caught right there by Ishmael, and the clock is run out. It is down to 0, and we're into overtime. One more time. Watch how long this ball stays in the air. That's a dead factor even before Chris Carter gets a chance to even touch it. Now a very important thing's about to happen.
Yes.
That's the coin toss in overtime. Remember the return games of both these teams. You got David Palmer on the Vikings side, who's been very successful, and you've got Mel Gray on the Oilers side, who has made a career of breaking hearts with long kickoff returns.
Houston are the visitors. They'll call the coin while it's in the air. Heads is called. It is the tails. Minnesota won the toss.
The Vikings will receive the kickoff in overtime, and we'll be back with the overtime after these messages from your local station. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Warren Moon, the first time against his old teammates, the Houston Oilers. Overtime. He will have the first opportunity as they will receive the kickoff. The Oilers 7-14, 11-11, and 2, the overtime record for the Vikings. What about this year, Randy?
Well, more importantly, you know, Minnesota's the only team with an overtime game under their belt so far between these two. They're 0-1. Dallas beat them on that Sunday night game. But let's watch the returners. They're going to give Warren Moon the field position to put him in position to beat his former team if he's got a shot.
David Palmer takes it at the 9. He is to the 15, now to the 20, slips a tackle, and then that's it. That'll be the 19-yard line. Steve Jackson is the man who gets him for the Oilers. 25 of 39, 268, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Well, the 2 touchdowns are to Chris Carter. The 2 interceptions are to Oiler defenders that outguessed Warren Moon. Now we're really into a position here, Charlie, if the ball's in the air, of who's going to outguess who. Is Warren going to fool his former teammates? Is he going to throw a familiar pattern that all of a sudden turns into an unfamiliar pattern, maybe an out and up, an in and up? Or are the defenders from Houston going to guess right and make him pay again?
The Vikings open this drive with 3 wide receivers. Quick drop, pitch underneath. Going to the tight end, Adrian Jordan. He's going to pick up a quick 8 on the play. Darren Wortham makes the tackle for Houston.
There's one thing about this offense, though, Charlie, you got to remember about this is not a patient offense. This is not a, you know, the old Bill Walsh West Coast kind of style of dinking and dinking and dinking. This team cannot resist taking the big shot down the field.
And they have 3 wide receivers. And here is running back Amp Lee for the first down. Comes over the left side, cuts to the outside, goes to the 36-yard line. First down, Vikings. Robert Smith checks back into the offense. Adrian Cooper comes with it. Palmer and Amp Lee come out.
Well, if Warren Moon's got a chance to ruin the day of Jeff Fisher and the Houston Oilers, his old teammates, it's by attacking Steve Sidwell's defense in this position where he does not expect it. Another guess, but it's got to be the right guess for Warren.
Two wide receivers on the near side. Warren being chased. Two flags are down. Has a man open. It's Carter. Slips a tackle at the 40. He's to the 30. Spins back. Reaches to the 21. There were two flags dropped back at the 25-yard line.
That's because it's a holding penalty that was worth two flags. It was an all-pro. Get your arms on him and take him down so he can't get my quarterback hold.
Lane Bishop finally brought down Carter.
It was Jeff Christie, the center, who got beat real quick and then just yanked him down. I mean, Everett Lindsay, 61.
Holding, offense number 61, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Now watch how this happens. I mean, this happens extremely quickly. Lindsay, working at left guard, gets beat very quickly by Montgomery. Remember that time Montgomery spent in the backfield earlier in the game? Same kind of a move, just a quick flash move and then a quick flash takedown.
And remember that Lindsay is replacing Randall McDaniel, who normally is a starter at left guard. And he is out with a pulled hamstring.
Well, this puts the Vikings in a long situation looking at the same guy. Look who they went to last time, Chris Carter. Same story.
Their own 26-yard line. It is now first down and 20. Moon throws far side. Pass is complete, and they'll blow the play dead. Robert Smith out of the backfield. He's going to get about 7 yards on the play. First team to score in overtime, of course, they are the winner. And should we play a full 15 minutes and no score, since we're in the regular season, it would go in the books as a tie ball game. Check it down in 13. He's the man.
Oh, he's definitely the guy you got to get the ball in his hands. He has proven today that if anybody wants to make a play, it's Chris Carter on this offense.
He's in the slot on the near side. They throw back underneath the Amp Lee, and it's only going to be good for 3 or 4 yards. And meanwhile, Warren Moon is under a lot of pressure from the Houston Oilers defense. Well, they're right in his face.
Steve Sidwell's defense is basically saying to Warren Moon, you better be throwing short, accurate timing passes because we are not going to give you the time. If you're going to beat us, if you're going to come back and beat us as former teammates, you're going to do it with the guys catching the ball and running. You're not going to beat us on a bomb.
Third down and 9, 37-yard line. Still 12 minutes to go in overtime. This is the first possession. Moon has pressure, throws, it is behind. Just behind Chris Carter, and he was open.
And Warren Moon just got splattered on that play, too. It was Henry Ford coming from the blind side on Warren Moon, just absolutely nails him in the back. Now Chris Carter is going to come across the middle. He's open. Warren Moon has to zip that just a little bit sooner than he wants to. Why is that? Watch this spinal adjustment. Wow. It's bad enough you get hit. Then you got that big tackle Stringer is propping you up so he can hit you harder.
So Mike Saxon will be punting to Mel Gray. Houston will have their opportunity here. Oh, good kick. Whoa, does he say this one? It hits at the 6-yard line. Will be down about the 7. Houston will be on offense for the first time. Let's go to New York for an update.
All right, Charlie, the Bengals and the Bucks were looking at overtime until with half a minute to play in regulation.
What you can call as a coach, and obviously a real quick run is not what you really want to have happen here. You want to move the ball. You want to get things going, but having Ezra Tuaolo in your backfield doesn't do wonders. Remember, Charlie, this is a point-scoring defense. We say you got to score points, doesn't mean your offense has to do it.
Second down and 14. A gain of a yard, maybe 2. That's going to be it. We've got a play. We've got some high hits against Rodney Thomas, the running back. They were going right up top at him. By the way, you saw the ticker going by. It's now final. Jacksonville wins again. They now have 2 victories on the year. Here's the call.
We have a false start, but prior to that, we have a delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, the quarterback situation shows its head right away, Charlie. Delay of game. The inexperienced Will Fuhrer not able to get that play off in time. And as they're hurrying, they jump off sides doing it. And this sets up Tony Dungy's defense in a classic blitz, get it, safety position. Even on a run, they can get a defender in the backfield and catch a running back in the backfield.
2-yard line, second down, 16. Into the field of play and out to the 7 or 8 yard line is Rodney Thomas.
That's one of the dangers the defense runs, too, is when if you're going to attack and you're going to be thinking, let's get back there, let's go get them, you can be gashed a little bit like they were right there by Rodney Thomas with a quick cutback and a clear opening as everybody was blowing by Thomas to try to get at the quarterback.
3rd down and 11. The ball just outside the 7-yard line.
With Will Fuhrer at quarterback, still definitely a running down.
Rodney Thomas jumps to the outside, has a downfield block. He's around the corner. He has passed the 30 and then is nailed along the sideline.
Charles Mincy.
Yeah.
Wow. Charles Mincy, as he relaxes on the sideline, another life lesson for Rodney Thomas. Don't you ever relax on the sideline in this league. A wonderful job by everybody on the offense for Houston. Good blocking outside from Chris Sanders. Now watch him relax as he gets near the sideline. And Charles Mincy, 21, comes in and absolutely crushes him right there. Ouch.
35-yard line, first down, no flag. He wanted his helmet. Left-hand toss, middle screen, incomplete.
A little hard.
Ooh, yeah. Little nervous.
A little inexperienced by Will Fuhrer right there. Yeah. You mentioned something about that out-of-bounds play, Charlie. He was in bounds when he was hit. And the shot and the contact did not start at his head. It started as it was initiated and moved its way to the head. It was not intentional. But if Jeff Fisher's Oilers are going to come back here and steal one from Warren Moon and the Vikings, they're going to have to do it on the ground with a backup quarterback.
2nd and 10. He's to throw. It is intercepted. Dwayne Washington. Washington to the 20. To the 30, rather, to the 28-yard line.
That's taking an unnecessary chance. That's taking, I think, a very unnecessary risk. Letting a backup quarterback playing against this pick-off, just hungry team in Minnesota, licking their chops, watching him throw into a zone. It was a good play by Minnesota, but I don't think Will Fuhrer really ever had a chance working against this defense.
Right now, it would be a 45-yard field goal attempt. The Vikings want to get closer. Robert Smith is the tailback.
Want to talk about running the ball.
And he's going to spin his way close to the 25-yard line, where it's going to be 2nd down.
The last thing the Vikings want to do is do something stupid, get involved in some sort of a fight and get a penalty.
The ball now at the 25-yard line. Second down and 7. Still a lot of time.
Second down.
Within field goal range of Fuad Reveiz. He is hit from 38 in the ballgame. His long this year is 43. Straight shot up the middle to the 20-yard line.
That close now, Charlie. It's a matter of where in the field does Reveiz want to kick it from. They will keep running into the heart of that defense, but they will take no chances. The backs will cover that ball with both arms. And the only thing standing between Warren Moon and a victory over his former teammates is the kicker, Fuad Reveiz. Sloppy tackling, give up defense, and good hard running by Robert Smith.
The opening was there to the outside for Robert Smith, and he capitalized on it as he scores with 7:50 left to go in overtime. So 7 minutes and 10 seconds into overtime, he scores the winning touchdown.
Now watch the arm tackling. I said give up defense. This is give up defense. Arm tackling, no one fulfilling the responsibilities. I don't understand it. I don't think it's fair to the rest of this team to have the defense play this poorly in this critical a situation. At least let the kicker get a chance at missing it. Why do this? Excellent execution by Robert Smith.
So in overtime, the Vikings defeat the Houston Oilers by a score of 23-17. Coming up next on NBC Sports, the second half of our NFL doubleheader. Most of you to see the Oakland Raiders take on the Seahawks. Others to see Cleveland at Detroit or Indianapolis against Miami. For Randy Cross, I'm Charlie Jones. Thanks for being with us in the Metrodome today, and for Warren Moon in his first confrontation against his old teammates